Let's see if I can pull it up.
There it is. What is up, beautiful people?
Welcome.
Welcome
Hey.
to How to Trade During the Midday. That is your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif, and I'm dressed a little bit like Neil today, so everything is good there. Yep, just want to shout out everybody. Had a nice, relaxing day yesterday. We're pumped. We're ready to go. We got a whole bunch of small cap gappers Joseph and I are going to look at for you. But we're going to do the shout out first. We got one micro trader and Dr. JD Voice, and it wouldn't be a day without a proper dang paradox. Shout out to you, my man. Let's bring in the chat and shout out everybody live over here. All right. Phil Rich, Oxlong, The Beautiful Gate, and my man T Money's in the house. Shout out to PC. All right. TVD, Brendan. Tez and Stock Up, shout out to my man there. We got Fred Lou, and he put from Canada, Joseph, just in case, we didn't know where he was from. Shout out to Fred Lou, my man, waving right back at you. We got the bone broth. That sounds tasty. We got 69 Judge Shack. Okay. Vizbot, Jose Perez, Epic Strategy, Joseph. We got Ryan G. Austin Cassius Dang Productions, one of the OGs in the chat. We got Chancellor Palms. What are you doing with your palms, bro? Mark Susi, Smokey Love, Poor Robin Hood. Seen that one before. We got Bax. And then my fave, Trisha Dang Perkins. You're still on the hit list, by the way. Stevenson Etienne.
Watch out.
We got Ronaldo. We got Vern. How are you, baby? Good to see you. I was just saying hi to Randy. Retro Stocks, Farm Trader Joseph, and last but certainly not least, we're going to say what's up to Anthony Vitale. No relationship, of course, to Big Patty Ice Vitale.
Is BPI in there?
He was messaging me, bro. He was congratulating us at our 500,000. The dude's all class.
No way.
He's all
BP
class.
is class. Nothing but class.
He's Italian, says the Katina man. It just be like, didn't you know? Good morning, Joseph. How's it going, bro?
It's going good, man. We're going to touch on some top-performing sectors. But first, we got a super chat that came in on the last session here, guys. So it says, congrats on 500K. I vote for axe throwing for something fun to do. Also, what are the odds for Joe versus Sharif push-ups? I think Joe's a heavy underdog, but might bet Joe if it's plus 400.
All right, so we didn't update them. Some people don't know.
They don't know.
Some people don't know. Here's the deal. Joseph and I, at a date to be determined, we haven't determined the date quite yet. We're doing a push-up contest, and then we're basically taking donations vis-a-vis Super Chat. They should be earmarked, though, for the push-up challenge. The reason being, guys, we're taking every single penny that we get for Super Chats for this push-up challenge, and we're donating it to a charity of the winner's choice. So obviously, Joseph, your boy wins. He gets to choose a charity. I win. I get to choose a charity. But please earmark your Super Chats. Already, Ram's been doing the absolute most.
Don't do it yet. We gotta talk to the promoters. We gotta get this going. We gotta make this a spectacle, man.
You're bringing Turkey O'Shea?
Yeah, you see what happened now? The fight's back on, baby.
Joseph?
Yeah, exactly. So
what's happening?
Yeah, so we're gonna get that going. We're gonna pump it up, guys. I think a lot of people are gonna be looking forward to that one. But Sharif has a lesson, and we've had pretty much an amazing session thus far. Even though the market is really starting to come back in here now, we're gonna go over some top performing sectors. So. But keep it trade in check. AFI is fire. Okay, let's see what everybody else says in the chat. Sharif has too much muscle to outlast Joe. Joe minus 1,500 favorite from Dinkelberg. That is crazy. Minus 1,500.
Damn.
I mean, hey. That's hefty.
Joseph, the market's tanking right now. Something's going on here.
Here, we'll pull up my Google here, Sharif, quick, and we'll get it to you. So as we can see, I was in some Google earlier, guys. Now tanking, Sharif, we got out at the right time. Google dragging the overall market down with it. Tesla's still moving to the downside here, guys. Pay attention to that. But we got some news with the dare at the front desk.
It's not news as much as be aware of Tesla. Tesla is right now below 339, is actually heading into 338.50. Why I want you to be aware of Tesla here is because there are a lot of comments on DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. In case you didn't know it, Department of Government Efficiency is headed by Tesla CEO Elon Musk, and this senator right now, Mr. Warner, just referred to Elon Musk as Doge Boys. So be aware here, specifically calling them Doge Boys. So just be aware of TSLA as this Koreans pretty hard into new day's lows. Back to you.
Yeah, Tesla is Dara's short Tesla, by the way. I was trying to get her to show her trade. She was complying there.
Yeah, we'll get her to set it up for next time she goes there. We'll pull it up there. Okay, so let's get into these sectors here, Sharif, real quick, and then we're going to send it to you guys.
Yes,
so
sir.
in first place, Win Play Show, because Neil was on the horse this morning. Win Play Show, materials up 1.13 here on the session. Energy up about 0.9 here, guys. So almost that full percentage point. And then tech sector up about 0.3 here, or 1/3 in this session today. Now let's go from the third last to last financials down about 3/10 as well. Healthcare, same thing, 3/10, closer to 4 here, and consumer discretionary down about 9/10. So discretionary being led by Tesla, my guy, to the downside
Energy
here.
and materials, we got to keep an eye on.
Yeah, we got to keep it exactly. We'll take a look at XLE and XLB for sure. Bang.
All right, baby. We're talking about short squeezes today. And it would make sense because I trade these small cap gappers a lot, many of which have a higher short float. And we've witnessed these short squeezes live on the How to Trade show many different times as they get parabolic. So let's talk about some of the characteristics and fundamentals of the short squeeze. So here's the deal. So this lesson dives into the early momentum chasing, but with a twist. We're talking here about targeting highly shorted stocks with the potential for short squeeze, obviously, but buckle up because this strategy is high risk, high reward. You need to think about that when you're employing some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today. So as we always do, let's talk about the short squeeze from a high level. What are the fundamentals of a short squeeze? So imagine a stock where a significant portion of the shares or the short interest are held by investors who borrowed them, betting against or betting that the price will go down. These are called the short sellers. So they borrow the shares from someone that's fully paid for them, with the caveat is that they'll return those shares. Their theory or their thinking is, let me wait for the price to drop, right? I borrowed them at $150. Let me wait for the price to drop to $100, and then I'll give them back to Joe when they're worth $100, and I'll pocket the difference of the $50 because I borrowed them from $150. And now they're worth 100, so I'll just give Joe back his shares, and I'll go and buy these at market value for $100, and then you profit from the difference. So you're betting against the stock going up. That's what we call a short, okay? And then the short squeeze happens, you'll see in a second. So in this particular case, when we talk about the short squeeze, if the price unexpectedly surges, means goes up. So if we have $150, right? That's the price that I shorted it at. Short sellers scramble to buy back the shares to return them, further fueling the price increase. This is a short squeeze. So if the price doesn't drop to $100, but rather goes to $175, that means I'm out of the money $25 a share. So that's a big hit for me. So how do I get out of the position? Well, I got to buy them back at $175 a share. So that means I'm losing $25 a share. That's the short squeeze. So the only way for me to get out of the short is by buying the stock. Well, how about the people who are actually buying the stock because they like it? This is what we call the double dip effect, right? Where the people who are short have to buy the stock to get out, and people who are seeing the stock move up are all of a sudden getting interested, so they're buying it as well. So you have that double effect, right? And that's what we call a short squeeze. We'll continue after a quick break with Adara.
Sorry for the interruption there, Sharif. I just want to let people know about Boeing, which is dropping pretty hard here. BA announcing its deliveries for January. Apparently 36 orders delivered in January. And then they delivered 45 jetliners in January. So 36 orders, 45 deliveries for BA, which is falling pretty intensely here, despite actually a pretty strong start to the day. Keep an eye on Boeing. And with that, we'll get back to the exciting short squeeze lesson with Sharif.
All right, so let's have a look at this trading screen. So this graphic visualizes and contextualizes a short squeeze. So here we go. So we're moving along on our way, and then let's just say, for example, a lot of people got short at this local high, okay? The price then dips down. So they're feeling good about themselves. They're like, oh, sick, bro. I'm in the money. I'm printing up multiple storms. Everything's good. Life's good. I got a lot of money. And then all of a sudden, we start making higher highs and higher lows. And then now we start breaking higher than the price they got short at. So now they're panicking. They're like, oh, crap, I'm out of the money. They start covering some of their position. But what happens when they cover? They have to buy it back, so they're forcing the price up. In addition, as I mentioned, to the people who are buying it anyway. So then we get this kind of double the speed movement on the move up, because people are trying to get out of their short position and people are buying it at the same time. And so we start seeing, margin calls where your broker has lent you the money to be short, and then, you're out of the money now and they want to get the hell out of it. So they close your position or margin call you without even you knowing. All of a sudden there is that buying effect to the high side, and you're well out of the money, or whoever's long is very much in the money. So early momentum chasing in shorted stocks. So early momentum chasers, they aim to identify highly shorted stocks experiencing an initial price increase. So the hope in here is to jump in before the short squeeze intensifies, profiting as the price explodes due to the forced buying by short sellers, as I just explained. So the thrill of the short squeeze obviously really needs to be stated here. So the potential rewards can be phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. We see this all the time with the small cap gappers. Capturing a short squeeze early can lead to massive returns as the price skyrockets. However, that's a big if, right? So the dark side of the short squeeze really can't be understated here. Number one, there are plenty of false alarms to these short squeezes. So not all price increases in shorted stocks can lead to a short squeeze. The momentum might fizzle out, leaving early entrants kind of metaphorically holding the bag. Then you also have lots of intense volatility during the short squeeze. So short squeezes are inherently volatile by nature. Prices can swing wildly to the high side and the low side, making it challenging to predict the right entry and exit points. So you should be really, taking time here to figure out how you're going to get in and get out and what your trading plan is. And then there's also psychological warfare that's taking place here between buyers and sellers. The emotional fervor surrounding a potential short squeeze can cloud your judgment as a trader. Investors might buy in an inflated price or at an inflated price, fearing they'll miss out. So you're always chasing kind of the move, and then you may be the person who buys the top before we trend right back down. So there's always that inherent danger to it. So what are some strategies you can employ here to take advantage of the short squeeze for the short squeeze chaser, so to speak? Keep your eye on the short interest. We call this short interest monitoring. You want to track the short interest of potential stocks that you already know have a bit of a higher short interest to begin with, right? So a high short interest combined with a price increase is a potential recipe for a squeeze. And then you've got to keep your eye on news, obviously in social media, X, and whatever other platform you're using to stay apprised of these stocks. So stay updated on company news and social media chatter that might trigger a short squeeze. We're talking, these hit pieces from Citron or these other companies that are the bear cave. For example, they drop these short hit pieces, and sometimes there is a bit of a move as a result. So positive developments developments or increased retail investor interest are good signs. And then technical analysis with caution. You really need to be using technical analysis here, goes without saying. So while technical indicators can help identify these breakouts, overly relying on them during a short squeeze can be a bit dicey. These events can defy technical analysis sometimes due to their emotional nature. And last but not least, stop losses, guys. Make sure you are using sound risk management skills by either using hard or soft stops, but make sure you are sticking to them and sticking to your trading plan, because, theoretically, you can be on the hook for an unlimited amount of money in a short squeeze. Doesn't usually work like that, obviously, but theoretically, the price can be, way higher than if you buy a stock at 100, it goes to zero. That's your risk, $100 a share. But it can go to $500 a share, and then you're on the hook for $400 a share. Obviously, theoretical doesn't typically happen, and that is the lesson we're going to do.
an eye here on the market and anything that might be impacted by tariffs. Peter Navarro, who is Trump's trade advisor, basically said that the country's allies have not abided by the rules but actually abused them. And, quote, the president says no more product exclusions. However, be aware of some of these statements because we also had Trump's trade advisor, Navarro, say that Trump was going to be meeting with President Xi of China that day, and then that never happened. So be aware that there might not necessarily be veracity in this in terms of the timing or what's being said, but it is worth noting that it has been said. Trump's trade advisor Navarro saying that apparently the president says no more product exclusions for tariffs due to apparently a lack of abiding these tariffs by other countries. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Adara.
Thank you, Adara. Hold on 1 second here.
What's
Guys,
the deal,
I
bro?
got something here.
Okay.
I'm going to pull up my screen.
Oh, wow, yeah, I got that. Buddy, do sent it to me on Instagram.
Did he send it to you?
I got it right, though, Dara. And I'm wearing green
Can we pull up my
that.
Can we pull up my screen here? Screen. Don't forget, folks.
I was actually cheering for them. I'm not gonna lie.
Eagles fly.
They were a division rival, but like I didn't want to see Taylor Swift be happy. So like no.
Man,
no.
What's the brother's name? Jason?
Jason Kelsey?
Yeah. Travis's brother, right? Yeah. Man, that must really suck for him. The year after he leaves, they go and they beat KC and win. Yeah.
What happens, baby?
This is what happens, exactly. All right, guys, so let's see what we got cooking up today. Here's some Google earlier in the session looking for that breakout higher. If you go to the morning show, you'll see me talk about this stock and why I believe it's a long. So hopefully these levels hold and that comes to fruition because we're going to look to put on those styles of trades because it is the market environment is definitely what we need to implement this type of style of trading. So here we go on Google. We're all out of it now as we break through the volume weighted average price. So we were just piecing it out there. And then as soon as we broke VWAP with that downside momentum, boom, out of dodge for that trade. But now we're going to short some IBIT up here. Why are we going to short IBIT? Because we're starting to form some lower highs here, guys, on that 5 minute. I attempted one trade already on it, but one thing you got to notice here, guys, is that I'm selling the bottom of the range. So as soon as we squeezed higher, I'm like, okay, that's not good, small size. Anyways, but then what we do is we just get back in. So once that lower high is constructed, then we move to the south side. So in here, out here, right back in it as soon as that price action turns around because we are range bound, as you can see on this 5 minute time frame, and then now heading back to the bottom of that range. I think it's only a matter of time until this thing breaks and then continues to move a little bit lower. So we're down about 0.5% on the session this far. I think Bitcoin's going to continue to drag lower and lower. We'll pull up spot just because we're talking about it. And you can see on this as well too, guys, from a daily perspective, is that price is really starting to condense, right? So it's going to break one way or the other. We have now established that we put in a double top already. And now we got to really worry about this key support around that 92K level. And I think if we go and test that, it's going to be breached. So again, unless buyers step in and we get a really aggressive buy program, you can see that this indecisive price action is not very good whatsoever and not something that you would want to see in Bitcoin. If you go back in its history, you can just see we were talking about it earlier, the average true range of this, if you want to call it that, but the volatility is much higher. It's really condensing right now, and that has a lot to do with IBIT being optionable as well too, so people protecting their downsides via selling calls or whatever it may be, or buying puts. So that's where you see this push and pull in this thing. And once again, I'll talk about this consolidation phase that we've been in for, it seems like, an extended period of time. So here's 8 months. We go on a move for a month, and then now we've been somewhat trading within this $10,000 range for the better part of a couple months here. So again, we got to wait and see what this thing's going to do. I believe that volume's going to step in here on spot Bitcoin. It's just our job to determine when it comes in, that we have to have the ability to join the trend, okay? So this time, I mentioned before, I thought we were gonna break lower here. That hasn't been the case. We had the inability to construct a new all-time high and hold it, and then now we're coming back in towards this range and to these key support levels. So I do think that we break here, Sharif.
All right, I'm keeping my eye, guys, on the following. Let's bring them in. So I'm already in a trade right now on HSAI. It's gonna have to hold the $0.50 because that's where VWAP is at. So this is a move for VWAP retracement because the other ones were really getting away from the level. So AIFF, I mean, that's the biggest, it's the baddest, it's a triple-digit winner. It's up 168.5%, almost 90% since we rang that dang bell at 930. Needless to say, it's above the pre-market high. It's above VWAP. It meets all the requirements that I have for these small cap traders, or small cap trades, excuse me. It's halted currently at 814. Let's see when this bad boy opens. So that's top left corner right there. But pretty dang panda brought to my attention another one, another repeat offender, SOPA. It's up nicely on the day. We're talking 64, 63%. It just blew through 4 like it didn't even matter. Not like we had a topping tail, 2 topping tails or something like that at 4 o'clock, right at $4, excuse me, right at that opening print at 930. So that if this one comes back in to test 4, I'm a buyer. It's coming in a little bit right now, high of day, 448, so rejects at $0.50. I like it at 4, maybe even front running 410, 407. You get it. Sometimes it doesn't come back into that whole dollar area that was resistance. So SOPA, I'm looking for this one to possibly turn back. AIFF is now open. HOD 815. Zigging and zagging right now south of 8 at around 790. Here we go. It's doing the dance with absolutely no underwear or pants at 815 right now. Joseph, we're going to have to keep an eye on this one. It's well away from the 10 exponential as well, which I use as an informal gauge of overbought and oversold conditions on these small cap gappers. So if this one comes back in and it wants to touch 7, I'm a buyer there as well, because that'll be a 10 exponential pullback. I'm all eyes, ears, and everything else. Let's look at SOPA, though, because I was just waxing poetic about this one coming back into 4, and I'm a buyer, or so I allege. So let's see now. It's coming into 413, 410. Let's throw out an order over here. We're going to take small share size at 4. We're going long right here. So we're going to give this to the breakout area. So I'm going to give it to 388, okay? So it's going to have to hold 388 for me to stay involved. So there we go. Threw out the order there. Let's set some beak wetters now, see if we can catch a pop back up. So that's exactly what I'm going to do there. So where are we long? We're long 09s. I put a bit of a beak wetter at 19s. Excuse me. Let's see if this one wants to move back up. Now, am I a buyer in and around this area? 390, 395. I think I am. But look at AI, dang FF, take out the top, 877. We're on the wrong one, boys and girls. We got to be looking at this one. This one's got absolutely no brakes. It's all gas, Joseph, and it wants to take out that $9 area. This is a sponsor of the dang show right here. So shout out to them. We're going to obviously, what's that, Neil? This is unbelievable. Yeah, it's a fantastic squeeze. AIFF is on one, 877 HOD. Let's see exactly what this one does. All right, HSAI is coming into my area over here at the $0.50. This is the volume weighted average price. So we're gonna get involved right here for a hold. And now we're gonna move up the stop on this bad boy. So HSAI might be our first L of the day. Now we're gonna take off that old order right there. And I'm gonna post a new order for HSAI. So we got some shares on this bad boy. We got 68. So let's go ahead and throw out the stop over here for HSAI. And here's where we're going to wait. We're going to wait right there. That's a good look. So let's see if this one wants to pop back up. It's coming into VWAP right now. How's my other trade doing? What's SOPA up to? It's zigging. It's zagging. I'm waiting at 19s. It's showing me 17s right now. Let's see if this one wants to spike back up. And there we go. Now we get the first print. All right. Now we're waiting right now at 29s. I'm talking about SOPA. It just made a high a day of 448, comes back down, comes into that 4 generally. And that was my move. I wanted that move back into 4, maybe high 3s, because the breakout level there, you can kind of see it's a little bit between 4 and 390. Let's see if we can get that print in the high 40s. High 30s. I'll get it right. High 20s. That's what I'm talking about. It's my day back, and I'm still not fully alive.
Still in the food coma there.
Yeah, bro. Oh, that was bad. Yeah. That was real bad.
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff, guys. I mean, here we go. A lot of people in the chat were talking about some some Tesla and some IBIT, but that's what we did here on IBIT. We bought the top of the range, or sold the top of the range, now heading towards the bottom of it. So we got to look to hold this a little bit longer, but here we go on that breakdown, Sharif, is IBIT. We're not going to take any out until we breach the low of this range here, Sharif, and the momentum is really starting starting to kick in on this thing, and we're really, really tanking. Okay, here we go, guys. Really nice stuff here on IBIT as well. So we're gonna hold this. Once we break this support, this is when we're gonna start to take some off here. But we also got some Nvidia, some TSLA cooking up as well, guys. Why? Because we had that 5-minute hammer. I told everybody in the chat, looking for somewhat of a relief here. But if we break this low, then we're going to get out of dodge and reassess the situation. This stock might take a little bit longer to turn around. Just look at this from a daily perspective. I mean, we're giving back the majority of this rally that we went on, much over 40%. Going to run into some key support levels here, which I think is going to bring us on TSLA around that $16 price target. We're going to have to look on Tesla to see where it is, but all of these gains absolutely gone. The long term is not liking that. Maybe the volatility in this thing is just absolutely outrageous, so we got to be patient. Is this going to be a buying opportunity? I hope so, Sharif, because as of right now, it's not looking too pretty from a daily perspective on Tesla. He's printing up some storms as well, too. We're getting the chuckles, but we got somebody talking about Palantir. He's asking, so Joe, do you think Palantir is currently a long or a short? Just cashed out some Tesla puts and considering PLTR puts or calls. Here we go. I don't think that you're going to be buying any options up here. If anything, your best bet is to start selling some premium with that heightened average true range, and something that we were talking on. So you're going to get increased premiums. You're going to collect a lot more on those credit spreads than you usually would. But be aware, this stock is going parabolic. We need to keep that in mind. So if it wants to squeeze again, you got to get out of dodge. But as for buying and flat out buying, I wouldn't be doing that. I would be looking to sell some premium here, or maybe some puts, because I know Sharif was talking about that. But I mean, hey, if you can get 128, 125 on those premiums and still collect $30 or so, 25, $30 on the combination of contracts, that's a trade, in my opinion, to put on, because it's going to take a lot for this stock to continue to move higher. Sharif, tell me what you got going on.
All right, we got to go to Adair. She's got breaking news.
Keep an eye on Microsoft here. About 10 minutes ago, but now this is kind of circulating on social media, Anduril did announce they're going to be taking over this U.S. Army goggles. Basically, it's integrated visual augmentation system goggles. So they're going to be running that program for the U.S. Army, pending Department of Defense approval. Now, why does Microsoft come into this? Well, they're used to the wording taking over. Seems to imply they're taking the project from Microsoft, who has previously been involved in these Army goggles. So keep an eye here in MSFT. Of course, Department of Defense has not yet approved the Anduril involvement, but regardless, something to be aware of here, guys. MSFT and Palantir might be in watch here as well. They do have some collaborations with Anduril as well. Back to you.
I know you know that.
I actually don't.
You know what?
I wouldn't mind knowing a little bit more about it, Joseph.
You don't know that.
I just want to see that TikTok video. Where's that TikTok video at, bro?
You don't understand. Okay, it's really complicated for me to get my hands on this video because I didn't create it. It was on somebody else's account. And trust me, I don't feel like throwing up when I watch the video. So
I love you, bro. I'm busting shots. Guys, we're in SOPA at 409, and here comes 469. You know your boy is waiting at 469. You know that. All right, so here we go. We're zigging. We're zagging. This is the last out for me here on SOP dang A. This was a $4 retracement. I front ran it for the reasons that I gave. Sometimes it doesn't work its way right back into that $4 area. It'll be front run. A lot of buyers are looking at the same technicals that I'm looking at, and they may be a bit more exuberant to take out those levels or to get in, So here we go. We're showing 60s again. I think I might take it out a little bit below 69 because it's looking like it's having a bit of an issue right now. 67 HOD. I don't want this to come back down too much on me because I remember I gave back money last week on one that I insisted on holding, and then it ended up dropping below my level. So I don't want to do that again. So here we go. We're still in SOPA. Took out some there at the $0.50. We'll look to do a little bit better if it takes out that HOD. Now, the one that I'm involved in right now that's out of the money, and it's out of the money by about 10 pennies, is HSAI. It's a little bit below VWAP. or the low of the current candle is a little bit below VWAP, but there's a couple of things here. It's at the $0.50 and now it's currently above VWAP. So what's the deal is, if this takes out that third of a dollar, that's the end of the trade there. We're not going to look to DCA into this one. If it doesn't hold VWAP initially, then it doesn't hold VWAP. I'm fine with that. But I'm not going to give much back, if anything at all, on this SOPA trade. Here we go. SOPA back into 69s again, or sorry, I think the high of the day now is 70. So did wick 70. Let's see if this one wants to keep going in the direction that it's going. Now, AIFF, I got to mention this one as well, obviously, because it's the big boy winner on the day. It's 136.75%. It is halted yet again, this time to the downside. Let me tell you when the halt is expected to be all over here. We can kind of make educated guesses. We can never really know exactly when it's going to unhalt because, well, what the hell happened to my trading screen? There we go, restore. Okay, so AIFF, excuse me for a second, let me tell you. Oh my goodness. Here we go. So it says 734 and change. Let me just look at that. Sorry, 1126 and change. Just want to know the exact time. 1126.46. Okay, good. So now it's 11:31:08. So we'll see if this one ends up being a 5 or a 10-minute halt. The current tap, the theoretical auction price, $7.31. As you can see, we halted at $7.34. So we are 3 pennies lower than the theoretical auction price. And I just got stopped out of HSAI. I'm okay with this stop out because I was not going to DCA into this. So we'll go 1 for 1 on the day, take a bit of an L on HSAI. Not a big mover on the day, and it looks as if VWAP didn't factor here because it held up initially, then it broke down. So that's a look on HSAI. Now back to SOPA. It's coming right back into that area that we got in. At 409s. Let's see if it does a VWAP touch at 4 and then move right back up. This is giving back quite a bit of the move here. I mean, if you were to look at the bull flag breakout at around 390, well, we're giving up a sizable percentage of the move. Well, the breakout level would be 390, but I think I would measure the flag from around 3 1/3. That's kind of where we trough right there. 3 2/3, excuse me. So 3 low 60s, 3 mid 60s. Now we come back into 4, Joseph, and that is the volume weighted average price. We're seeing a bit of a hold up here, but not quite, anything that would rock it up or anything like that. So AIFF is open. Let's see if this one wants to hold on to the $7 area. This could be an interesting trade over here. I could get involved here for a $7 break. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. We're long 31s. We're going to take out some there at 40s. Let's see if we can take out some at 50s. We take out some at 50s. Let's see if we can take out some at 60s. We're taking some out at 60s. We're taking some out at 70s as well, Joseph. Let's see if this one wants to spike up again. Here we go. Zigging and zagging, baby. I'm happy to be back. Small cap gappers are in play. Trade them as you like, baby, but make sure you are managing risk. Joseph Wilson.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you never left, man. So there you go, trading well. But here we go in some IBIT, guys. This is somewhat of a push and pull of emotion here, Sharif,
yes,
because we're working out here, but then the long term is like, it's screaming. But here we go, guys. Short, same thing here. I said, hey, we're forming that wedge. We are forming those higher lows. I sold the bottom of the range. Didn't work out. I'm like, okay, if we pop back up and we have the inability to construct a new high, let me sell that high again. And sure enough, here we go. We are getting that move to the downside here, guys. Spot Bitcoin now sub of 97,000 and heading more south. So, I mean, tough look here. We don't have too many more outs, only about 10% left of the position. We'll take it off on this last exit here, but let's see how low we can go. I do believe that we are going to hit that 92K very, very soon and then head a little bit more to the downside. And best believe, I will be looking to pick some up. But here we go, guys. Also in Tesla, looking for this bounce. Down over 3% on the session. Now we put in that hammer. We like those looks here at an extreme low. If we break this, add a dodge. Not going to hold on to that position because we can reassess and then possibly get back into this trade. But this is my reversal candle. One thing that we do have to note here and keep our eyes on is that there's still a little bit of selling pressure. We didn't fully close as a hammer. That's something you need to keep an eye on. And the volume signature isn't overly isolated, okay? We've seen at the overall market this morning, was trading to the top side. Tesla decided not to participate, continue to sell. And then now that we're selling, it has the inability to bounce back. So something is going on with this thing. Could this be somewhat of a breath in this stock and then potentially take that second leg lower, because this thing is just getting beaten to a pulp from a daily perspective. So how are you shorting IBIT, if you don't mind me asking? Just buying pits? No, this is common stock, right? This is ETF. IBIT is the ETF. No options contracts here. Nick W. Mind taking a look at ALAB and had a great earnings surprise. It's not ripping, seems like manipulation, absolutely. But someone asked us to take a look at Google first, and then we're going to look at ALAB for you, my guy, Nick W.
Dang.
So this is Google. Traded that this morning as well, too, guys. Gorev and I were talking about this in the chat, and we're like, hey, this is a potential swing. But the issue is, Gorev, we don't have those signals yet. So what my thesis is I was going to start a position this morning as well, too. But I'm like, hold on, let me wait, because on my cam structure, it didn't look like it was going to rebound. So what I did is, like, I'm going to wait. If we break 183, Gorev, then thesis invalid. I think we have to be a little bit more patient on this stock and then wait for it to turn around. But best believe we're going to look to participate on this thing, because according to the street, trading at 22 times forward is still relatively cheap to the market. So we got to keep that in mind. And I mean, I think at some point it's going to recover and then head back into this gap. And that's what we're going to look for, is once we turn around, Gorev, we're going to look for that mid gap fill. So that'll put us around the mid 190s and then also the 200s. So that is my look. And then for Nick W, we're going to take a look at ALAB for my guy and see what we got going on. Oh, okay. Good report, you said. I mean, Astera Labs, not right now looking the best. This pullback is slightly it's hefty and it's deep. So we got to keep our eye on this. But one thing you need to also keep an eye out on is the selling pressure in some of these candles. So maybe this is just going to be a lower high formed. We have to watch out for that, because again, going back to that Google reference, we filled the majority of that gap and then rejected it and moving it back to the downside. So until we sit on top of this gap here, Nick Dub, I would wait for this thing for any potential swings. But for today, you can see we pushed price up, moving half decently, but then giving back some of those returns on this session. So yeah, that is ALAB and Google, guys. Let's see what else we got going on with TSLA. This one's going to be a little bit of a slow burner here, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Because the turnaround price action is not looking too good in Tesla, and I think it might not play out because this thing is really, really weak, my guy.
All right, man. I gotta take some of these screenshots, bro.
Yeah, bang.
All right, here we go. We got a couple of bottom wicks today, man. Look at that bottom wick right
Right. Oh, bang.
Another bottom.
Hey, call you the wick man.
The wick man, the bottom wick. All right, guys. Paul Parth Gandhi. Yeah, that's not your name. Sorry, Parth Gandhi. Let's look at. He wants us to look at Big Bear. Absolutely, say less, my friend. Let's bring in the trusty e-signal. Shout out to them. Look at Intel Go. Neil, are you looking at this, bro? What is going on over here, man? This is parabolic. I know Darius been looking. We're 10.25% on Intel. I have to digress. I'm sorry. This is not every day we see double digits on Intel, and not in this fashion over here. Wow, what a move for INTC. But we're supposed to look at Big Bear AI for the OG there, Parth Gandhi in the chat. Now, here's the deal. Big Bear, we know Big Bear to be, a mover on the day. I traded Big Bear nicely last week. I know the Katina man had a couple of trades on Big Bear as well. Today, I don't know if it's Big Bear's day today. Let's have a look. So Big Bear, we're up 0.56. We're zagging right now. On the intraday chart, we're looking at a print below the volume weighted average price, sadly. So for Big Bear to, be tradable under my system, it's going to have to get above that 8 and say 4/5 area. That's where VWAP is at around 885. But I do like this area low. Now, this is not my style of trade, okay? So I want to make that very clear. I won't take these small cap gappers or small cap gapper-like stocks as a long below VWAP. I'm just not going to do it, and it has to be above the pre-market high. However, there is an area of technical support over here from the end of the trading day yesterday. Look at this area, or sorry, in the pre-market, excuse me. The pre-market low was around 8.25. Lo and behold, we get all the way down to 8 1/3, and then we find some support, and now we're zigging and zagging with 8 1/5, 8 2/3. So there is a support trade you could have had at this level. That isn't my style of trading. I would not have taken that trade even if I had known about it. But it's a sound strategy if you're good at it. So yeah, I'd like it possibly off that 8 1/4. It looks like it's already getting away from that, looking like it's going to hit 8 2/3 right now as it takes out that 59 penny, 60 penny level. I'm talking about Big Bear AI. Below VWAP still and well off the high of the day. Currently the high of the day, 941, about $1 north of where we're trading right now. So that is the look for Big Bear, not a trade I want on at the moment. So that's going to be my look there. Let's see what else is moving. So AIFF, I'm out of that one. I got out of the last remaining amount there at 8. So this one's having a lot of trouble at 8 and 780. So I was watching this for a while. There is somebody of note throwing some shorts or selling a long position between 780 and $8, okay? And we already have a 5-minute candle that closed as a candle of indecision, a doji candle with an equidistant between the upper wick and the lower wick is the actual body of the candle. So here we go. We could make a new low below that candle of indecision if we print anything below 740. We're showing right now 758, 759. I feel AIFF here has a bit of a seller again between about 780 and $8, hence why I got the hell out of there at $8 as it comes right back down into that 10 exponential moving average. Still a big mover, up 139 and change percent on the day. Put some dang respect on that one's name, like we're gonna put some dang respect on Adara LePage's name.
Thank you for that wonderful transition there, Sharif. And keep an eye on Tesla. In case you missed it, there was a pretty interesting Twitter back and forth between Tesla CEO Elon Musk and OpenAI CEO Sam Altman yesterday regarding reports that Elon Musk was looking, or his consortium was looking to put a bid for OpenAI. Sam Altman now responding at this Paris AI conference to Reuters saying the company is not for sale and that it's another one of Musk's tactics to, quote, try to mess with us. He also called the bid ridiculous. So basically, Sam Altman poo-pooing this Elon Musk consortium bid. Also, guys, keep an eye on X pretty soon at TTV Research. I'm currently working on a series of graphics on the Elon Musk and Sam Altman squabble. Back to you.
Offering 98 and change for, or whatever, 93 and change, 90, whatever, 90 something and change for OpenAI, which is like way below what they raised at, Joseph. They raised that 250 billion last time around, or 175, something like that.
A little bit off it.
And then you know what? Altman's like, no, the company's not for sale, but I'll buy Twitter off you for 9 billion and change.
No,
like,
wow.
Get him, Altman.
Mega shots fired.
Yeah, I don't think these two are going to be able to be in the same room. But you know, I think Elon's substantially larger than Sam.
He's a little more girthy for sure.
And taller, bro.
Yeah, he's a
We saw what
dude.
Altman at the podium with Larry Ellerson and the orange one.
Yeah, and who else was
And he
that?
was
Masayoshi was
but Massa, you know, he's not the standard of height.
He's
you know,
he's not living up to par there. But I mean, here we go, guys. With Tesla, all out of iBid here now, so short from here, out at the bottom of this range. But then Tesla didn't work out for us right now. I do think at some point this thing might turn around. But again, I mentioned we have those definitive outs for a reason. If we were to crack the low of that indecision on the 5-minute, add a dodge. See you later. That trade didn't work out, and that's okay. The positions boards are down right now, guys. So they'll get that back and running shortly, momentarily. But I mean, the sentiment in this thing has flipped. It is weak sauce here, guys, in Tesla. It's not fun for the long term, that's for sure. Not looking good, guys. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up another chart here, and we're gonna get a percentage metric from those all-time highs, how much we're off, and it's gonna be a hefty amount. But I mean, we know this thing has that cult-like kind of personality to it. So it can rebound, and it can rebound extremely quick. But 31% off of those highs, Sharif, is, closer to 32 is Tesla, and continuing to the south side. When is this thing going to stop? I had a potential turnaround at this support level here that was once prior resistance. We've now blown through that and continuing to that next level. So once we punch through this level, then the next stop here, guys, is going to be that previous breakout of 271. And I mean, that's still a hefty ways away. Not something that I would want to be holding on to for that long, but I don't want to just mismanage the account. It would be down 43% if we come and touch 274 here on Tesla. So not a pretty look on this cyber one and company. Really tough look there, Sharif. But one thing that is looking really good, and a lot of us are talking about this, and I've been talking a lot about it, is Nvidia. We added to this position here. Average now up to 120. Yeah, so we were in at 118. Had a beautiful dip by at 118. That fill I got a sick fill, and then sure enough, we're just climbing now in the majority of this gap here, Sharif. So looking really good on Nvidia. And people in the chat were asking, where do we think this thing closes by the end of the week? And I wouldn't be surprised if we stick to these mid 130s.
All right, Reek Mayhem. What's the catalyst for the Tesla drop? We're not really sure, brother. There's nothing specific, like you could say, they missed on deliveries or something like that, like a very specific headwind. I think it's just like a manifestation of different factors. We saw BYD release their driver-assisted software with their cheapest vehicle. That's south of $10,000 when you do the conversion between yuan and USD, which is insane to think a $10,000 car can have a driver-assisted software. Again, not full FSD and probably not as good as Tesla's. But the reason is Tesla doesn't have the authorization to use full FSD, and China, obviously, a huge market for Tesla. So there could be just a manifestation of different things. I'd submit to you maybe Elon not fully concentrated on Tesla, or that's how it seems from the surface. You never really know what the hell is going on behind the scenes, but it seems like he's got his mind really fixated on Doge, getting spending under control. However you feel about that, wherever you fall on the political spectrum, that is not what I'm discussing. I'm discussing his concentration and his focus right now. So that's just speculative for my part. There's no real specific reason why Tesla is down 4.15% on the day. Obviously, he's got his back and forth with Altman, as Dara was just surprising you guys. So there's many different reasons possibly here for the move down. But I want to talk about this one, Andre. ORMP, another good small cap gapper. I have this one on the side chart. It was doing kind of light volume, so I was hesitant to talk about it. It's still kind of doing light volume, only about 2 4/5 million shares. We're closing in on that 3 on the day, 3 million shares, but it's only a $2.88 name, a $3 name. It's got to have a bit more volume than that, baby. But in any event, it's got a good looking chart pattern. It's above the 10 exponential. It's above the pre-market high. It's above VWAP. Check, check, check. It's got everything under its name, Joseph. It's got an ugly topping tail candle right now that just manifested through that break of 3. But guess what? It's still holding. I like that. That's what I do to everybody else. It's still holding trend. What do I mean by that? It's still putting in those higher lows. It's still above the 10 exponential moving average. It's just got a resistance level with which it has to contend. I'll submit to you that resistance level is $3, a level that we predictably could have gauged as resistance. We know these whole dollars act as areas of support and resistance on these small cap gappers. In any event, it's zigging, it's zagging at 288 right now. I could absolutely be persuaded to weasel into this one. It's a good looking chart, but again, light volume. So get into it with the requisite, the appropriate amount of shares so that you can manage risk, because the bottom can drop off. Think about it. This thing is only printed 3 million shares on the day. Imagine what a big boy account could do to this, especially if they get a hard short position or if they're holding a big boy long and they liquidate it. You could just blow through all the levels and halt to the downside. Seen it way more than once on these small cap gappers. Make sure you are managing risk. AIFF is coming into that $8 level again. I'm seeing on the side chart. I've submitted to you guys. There is a seller of note on AIFF. I perceive it to be between $7.80 to $8. Make sure you are accounting for that. Sharat Rahman, Sharif, I disagree with that. I'm not going to read it out loud. Los Palos Hermanos. Tesla is falling because Elon bidding for OpenAI, suggesting that Tesla is incapable of making their own good AI. Brother, he has Grok, XAI, which strung together 100,000 H100 GPUs. They may not be where OpenAI is in terms of, software development, the layer that you actually put on to the LLM, but they're catching up. I don't know exactly what the difference is between them. I haven't done any of these standardized tests. I've seen some comparators between DeepSeek, Grok, obviously OpenAI. I've got a lot more to talk about AI because I finished that 5-hour Lex Friedman podcast and I feel a lot smarter about AI now, but we'll get to that in the more calm time of the day. So ORMP really looking like it can take out the levels. Here it goes again, trying to put in a higher low above the previous candle, and it's zigging and zagging with 3. It's having trouble taking 3, as we can see over here on ORMP, but let me tell you some of the details. $120 million market cap. It's a pharmaceuticals company, and the float on this bad boy is about 36 million shares, a little bit less than that. Where the hell is my trade ideas? There we go. And I don't know why it's only showing up on one screen now, which I don't like. Let's go ahead and find out what the short float is on that. ORMP, we're getting about 0.74% of the float is shorted. So not much to talk about there in terms of a short float for ORMP. Joseph Wilson.
Hey, yeah, guys. So we're on attempt number 3 here on this possible turnaround on TSLA. I mean, we're trying to catch a falling knife, I think, at this point. But we do have those turnaround signals and multiple at that on the 5-minute time frame. So that's exactly why I'm going to try this one more time. And it looks like we're getting that bounce. So each entry we got out, but then we're getting a better price, slightly better price here on this third one as well, too, guys. So you can see entry 1, entry 2, and then now for the third time, we're going to try this. And that's it. 3 strikes, we're out. We have to reassess the situation because Tesla is so weak, and I mean, we're talking a lot about it. Shreve was talking about it, so we won't get too much more into it. But again, I think it's a time where you look at it from a perspective. We went on such a crazy run. It printed all-time highs, right? We had that fun trading it, but now it's changed, and there's other things, other sectors that we need to look at, and other stocks that we need to find that are strong. And one of them is the king of all kings, and that's Nvidia. So stick to things that are strong because it's continuing to hold as some of the market is starting to pull back here now. Let's pull it up. I mean, yeah, as we pull back here, that's not good for the selling pressure in Tesla. So if we break the lows, then we're going to have to get out of Dodge and just not trade it anymore. So it'd be over 3 on that one. But IBIT was nice for us, and Google was nice for us earlier in the session as well, too, guys. So we got to keep an eye out on NVDA as well, too. So we'll focus on this. If we breach the volume-weighted average price to the downside, it might drag the overall market with it. We are slightly extended on the Qs and the SPY from VWAP, so you might get that reversion back into that indicator. And as of right now, it seems to be the case. So just don't try to chase anything. Wait for those indecision prints to display themselves, and then maybe you can look for a reversal in this current secondary trend right now, guys. So let it run into some key resistance levels and support levels, and then look for that turnaround if it displays itself. But again, if that volume and that momentum steps in, we could be looking for some more downside, guys. But one thing that we are going to monitor here, Sharif, is the volume by time profile here. And you can see as we start to pull back here, that selling pressure is drastically falling off a cliff. So that can be a positive signal unless the sellers decide to step back in. Look for a potential turnaround here because you can see the effort and results. So the effort in this print, but the result in the volume doesn't correlate with itself. So those are things that I always keep an eye on and look for potential turnaround signals in these names. Wow, IBIT is bleeding still, guys. That's crazy.
Where are we at now?
Yeah. We're at 50. We're at 96 on spot. IBIT we're at 54.78. So I mean, but this thing is continuing to make new lows. We're all out of IBIT here, guys, as I was mentioning earlier. So yeah, once we broke that range, took some off, started piecing it out on the way down, but then now we're continuing to bleed. I think 92 is in sight by the end of the week. Sure.
All right, Andre Freitas? Andre, help me out with it. Andre, because he's got your name, and he's from Brazil. So maybe you can help me with his last name. Freitas? Yeah, he's like right on there in the purple. The purple with the A. Freitas. Thank you. Appreciate it. Here we go. He wants us to look at fritas.
Fritas.
Was I saying it right, Andre?
Fritas.
All right. So here's what we're doing. He wants us to look at the US 30. Say less, my man. Okay, the US 30 obviously is a name for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And here are the components. Shout out to eSignal, who puts this together for me. I didn't have to do a dang thing. It just has, you know, these watch lists, this drop-down watch list. You can see Dow Jones Industrials, Forex, you get it, and there's basic, you know, there's all this stuff over here. So the Dow Jones Industrial, which is a component of 30 different companies from different sectors. They're chosen obviously by the good people at the Dow Jones. We don't get to figure out who's involved, but these are the components right here. Just if you wanted to know, I'm going to chart it in a second, but we're going to look at the Dow Jones in a hot sec, the actual the DIA or the futures, the YM, when we get back from Madeira at the big desk.
Keep an eye on MSOS selling off pretty heavily here, seeing apparently Donald Trump has announced that Terry Cole is going to be the next administrator of the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration. I'm still trying to find more information on Terry Cole to contextualize this drop, but either way, it seems like people who are trading cannabis names are not a fan of Terry Cole. As the leader of the DEA, I will continue my research into this individual and get back to you when I have more context.
Yeah, you have to, we got to shout out, is Adara's deep dives. Those deep dives are deadly.
Very good.
She loves the deep dive. She just yelled it out. We're going to shout her out. Get it, Adara. All right, let's have a look at the Dow Jones. I'm going to actually look at the futures contract because I have the futures permissions over here. So we're going to have a look at the future. So that's the weekly. Let's flip to the 5 right now and have a look at what the Dow is doing. Okay, so we got a bit of a bull flag going on right now at the Dow, but there's a bit of a range. The closing print on the Dow, we've got over here at around 44,580. That is also the 20 exponential moving average. I don't like this topping till candle, most notably, and then the incrementally lower highs and lower lows. Now, this could be a bull flag where we continue on our merry way. I submit to you, if you're going to get long, you should be getting long towards the bottom end of this consolidation area range, which would be around 44,590, 580, give or take something like that. It's hard to kind of know what this one's going to do because its components are so drastically different from one another. I just got stopped out of ORMP, by the way. I just saw that coming in, breaking down now below the $3 level. So I had a super tight stop there. I'll talk about that trade in a second. But this is a good look right now on the Dow. It's the only one of the 4 major averages that's actually positive on the day. It's not by much. It's more like flat than positive, up 0.05%. So the Dow not looking too bad. It's performing, but very close to that break-even point, and kind of, you know, this pattern over here with these candles, with this candle being the main one, the candle of indecision with a topping tail and bottoming tail, kind of has me, you know, a little bit unsure about how to chart this one, but I do see a bull flag pattern, which you could get a possible continuation, or we can get this could be a rounded top, right? Where we make those lower highs and lower lows, and then we break down. Keep your eye out on that closing print, that 44,580. That's yesterday's closing print on the Dow. I hope everybody does well on that. Okay, so here's the deal. ORMP came in to the 10 exponential, and I traded this one wrong. So I got a quick beak wetter, but I had a really tight stop. Now, the reason I had a really tight stop is because I didn't have a lot of conviction in this name. The volume was not to my liking. So the deal is here. If it defends the 10 exponential moving average, which right now is at $2.88, I'm getting back in, okay? Whether it's south of 3 or not, I don't care. If it holds the 10 exponential, shows me another candle that closes above the 10 exponential, I'm getting back into ORMP. So that's my look there. But as I look at that and whine about getting stopped out, let me tell you about this one. AIFF is back onto the high side, baby. Still a little bit south of that high of the day, 877. But I got an inkling that that might be very short-lived, that 877 high a day, because we just got all the way up to 867, and then we pulled back just a skosh below that $0.50 level. This one's on one, baby. It's up 170%. Could be a very aggressive name, especially if we take out that high of the day. I think this is likely a short squeeze, okay? It was so apropos that we had that lesson today on short squeezes. Let's do a little bit charting here on the daily to figure out, you know, where these shorts could be hanging out. Now, you can never really be too sure where the shorts are hanging out, but you can make educated guesses based on area crests in the price action, okay? So let's have a look if this chart will stop being stupid and load up properly. All right, so the last time we were up at this $8 level, got to go all the way back to this time right here, August of 2024. We got up to about 10 bucks, and then we printed lower highs and lower lows. All right, we've already taken out the high in October. We took out the high in early January and mid-January, so we're past those highs. So what we need to be looking at is that $10 area. I'll submit to you, there's likely a few shorts between short sellers at around 10 bucks to 9.50. That's the previous area crest. Above that, we're looking at that $11.50 area. Okay, that's the next area crest there. Then we're really going high. All the way back to March of 2024, almost a year ago, we were at 16 bucks. So the reason I'm even looking at it that way is because I'm saying to myself, if I was a short, if I was trying to get short on this stock, where is the price above this level that I could have initiated a short position at? Well, we've already cleared two major area crests. The one that we're now looking at is this August 13th, mid-August high, where we could definitely have some shorts who might be on the wrong side if we squeeze above 10. So AIFF, this one gets into 10 or around 10. This could be really violent over here. Adara is at the big desk.
I think I found Terry Cole, but we'll get to him in a second. Right now, we're going to take a look here at the market, which is initially trying to be pretty strong here. The SPY running into some previous resistance. Now currently trying to hold on to 604s, down about 0.14%. NASDAQ down here looking a little bit weaker, down about 0.3%. And we have Fed Chair Powell testifying here for the Senate. This has been going on since 10 a.m. and it has not stopped or slowed as of yet, talking a little bit about inflation right now and fiscal policy. But he has talked a little bit about tariffs, echoing a lot of what we've heard from the Fed lately. What's going to happen here with the tariffs depends on the size of the tariffs and how many tariffs we have. If it's a one-off, that'll be very different than if we see these repeated persistent tariffs. So tariffs still on watch for the Fed, as is MSOS. This dropped here after Donald Trump announced on Truth Social that he has picked Terry Cole to lead the DEA, or the Drug Enforcement Agency. So MSOS do not react positively to this. I looked into Terry Cole. His name is Terrence Cole, if I found him correctly. Terrence with an A, so Terrance. And he appears to be basically, I guess, part of the Office of Public Safety and Homeland Security for the Commonwealth of Virginia, where he serves as a secretary. Now, in terms of his history with cannabis, there's not a lot here, but he did have one post from last year suggesting that the use of cannabis in drinking can lead to self-harm in youth. So it does not seem like a glowing endorsement there of cannabis from Terry Cole, just to give some context for that move to the downside. Apple, no move to the downside here, basically at day's highs, despite a push lower in the rest of the market. We have the information reporting that Apple is going to be working with Alibaba on their AI. And last but not least, Intel, pulling back a little bit here, but still strong on the day. It does look like J.D. Vance's comments on the U.S. safeguarding AI, or in fact the catalyst for this moving to the upside. So sometimes it is the answer that you think it is, I guess. Also, though, apparently could be reacting to, it sounds like good reviews for their Core Ultra 9 processors. So keep an eye on INTC here, hanging out to 2140s as of right now. So without further ado, we will move you over to Neil and his lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you, Adara. The lesson of the day. Let's just give thanks to all of our viewers for getting us to that 500,000. That's not the lesson of the day, but I thought I'd start it off with that. It was so kind of everybody once we got excited about it, and we couldn't have done this without our viewers. And it's partly because trading requires a community out there. And trading can be a lonely business, whether you're sitting at home, sitting at a desk, or whatever it might be. Like you're looking at your charts, you're sort of focused on your own setups. But the ability to learn from others' mistakes and successes is something that can get you a bit of a leg ahead, because that 10,000 hours of screen time or whatever it might be, it's difficult to get there on your own. And to the extent that we can try to show you guys what we learn from and what our experiences are and what our ideas are, I hope everyone benefits from that. Now, every day is going to be different, but I'll tell you one thing right now. Nobody knew what was going to happen with Apple and Alibaba this morning. But I think you can just try to keep it simple. And it doesn't necessarily matter whether you traded Apple or Alibaba. Once that news hit, it's about what you can do even if you don't get that initial move, because when the news hits, it's like 9 a.m. This is the initial candle on Apple here, 226 into 230, $4. I mean, Alibaba did something very similar. They're just going to be going back and forth between those. But I'll start with Apple. Very similar move in Alibaba initially. But then look at what it did after it pulled back. Even if you're just patient, so it's good news, it's huge volume. Right at the open, where does it dip into? Now you're going to pull back the chart and say, hey, look at that. There's afternoon support, 228. We had to close at 228. No, who cares about that? Dips into VWAP. Now, I'm not even saying this is where you should get long. Let's keep it even more simple than that. At the open, it's 9:30. You want it to settle down. So you didn't get the opening rip. It's now been 30 minutes since the news is out, and it dips into VWAP. But you don't have to believe it then. Makes another fresh high. What does it do another time? It gives you another shot to dip into VWAP at about 957. At this point, you've got successive higher lows. It's about having the most simple plan possible. Now, obviously, if you trade this instead of, or Alibaba instead, like maybe that costs a short in Tesla. I don't know. But ultimately, keep it simple. It's explosive on news. It's putting in higher highs and higher lows. And an indicator that you like is holding. That's simple, the volume weighted average price. And I'll throw you that the same thing happened on Alibaba, not as clean, obviously, as Apple, but it gave you another strategy, which we like first, which was holding in front of prior highs. It then eventually held VWAP when it bounced off of the prior close. Now, I would grant you this one required a little bit more patience. And I've been guilty time and time again of having this long. Right? Like there is a big difference between seeing it hold on to VWAP and catching the bid. Like it comes into VWAP, I'll show you this right here. It comes in, holds on to VWAP, does this crazy wick underneath, then comes right back above, get long. Like there's a big difference between that and this falling knife. Always, you shouldn't say always. But if it's your straight trading strategy that you would rather get the backside of the trade, right? Like if you're fading something off the highs, you want it to have curled. If you're buying something off of the bounce, you want it to have actually shown the bounce instead of just getting in against you, then allow it to show you what you need to see at that level to get your entry point. Have an entry strategy as well, so you're not just always going against you. Now, Apple, easy peasy. Like it just held on to VWAP nice and clean. Upward trend. That's not going to give you any trouble. But with something like an Alibaba, and I've been guilty of this myself, where I like VWAP, so you just sit there. If I'm looking at a 3-minute chart, there is nothing about this at the open that suggested buy this at VWAP. It did for Apple, and you saw the hold. You could have gotten anywhere on that next green candle. In this case, I'm going to miss this because that is a $2.50 candle, and this is a more reasonable entry point. That's what you've got to be able to look for. Now, like I said, there's always an opportunity cost to everything. But, you know, look, we could have had short in Tesla today, and that would have been a bigger winner. But I would venture to say that the longs on Apple and Alibaba were simply easier, higher percentage shots on news, on a catalyst, clean trend. And there is nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's just okay to go in there and take the simple trade. And just one more note. I know a lot of people are going to be looking for a Tesla bottom. I get it. I mean, I've been looking for an Intel top, which it might have made one. You always have to be careful when you have this kind of a move to the downside. And what I mean is, this broke a big support level and then tried to hold green and then had a slight down day and then a little bit bigger of a down day and then an even bigger down day. It's a kind of move that's accelerating after it did the false break. So not the big candle breaking underneath, but like the small move down, then the acceleration. So you're going to need to get to an obvious level to me for a revert. Like this is down to like 320 and then you have 300 in here as some pretty big levels. I don't know if we'd get that far today, but the crazy thing about Tesla, as I said, it's accelerating the further it gets away from that false break, and you should be patient. Allow the stock to actually set up for you. Not all trades will look as simple as Apple off of VWAP, where it's like bounce off VWAP, there's your upward trend, now it's off to the races. Every now and then it will require a little bit more discipline, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're trading a news event, you don't have to have the initial break. You can always have the plays after. As a matter of fact, Bob coming right back into VWAP, that could be a bit of a play. Yeah, the market's really starting to come in here. Let me just go over to Nvidia's tanking. We're going to go back over I just heard Shree saying Meta just lost the bid and went down $3 in a single candle. This is feeling like we could have some kind of capitulation bottoms. Oh, yeah, and by the way, Firefly's halted to the upside at $9.19. It's up 196%. Just like that. That's your lesson of the day, guys. Oh, I think we're going to Adara, actually.
I'm not sure if this was moving the market, but we do have some geopolitical talk happening right now. So there's some talk about a possible ceasefire. We've heard some talks about that. Donald Trump said that the deadline is Saturday for response from Hamas. Then we have Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, saying that the ceasefire will end on Saturday if they do not get, I guess, the hostages returned there by Saturday at noon. And then there will be a return to, quote, intense fighting there for the Israeli military. So basically this ceasefire talks, I'm not sure if that is necessarily the reason for the move, but I think it's worth noting here. We have seen this move the market. Ceasefire discussions getting a little bit heated, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adair. Yeah, man. This is a Donald Trump presidency, baby. If
crazy,
things come fast and furious.
Furious, man.
Right?
Fast and furious.
We tried to tell you guys that. I mean, I don't think Joseph traded in the first Donald Trump presidency. I caught the tail end of it, but I'll submit to you that was more COVID than Donald Trump. So, you know, I have very little experience. So we could just talk to the big boys. Obviously, we got the big kahunas to our right, and they told us exactly what to expect. So no, this is not something we were not aware of with this type of trade, this current market, this economic climate. All right, guys, we're in a trade right now. ORMP. I got back in. I got stopped out. As I told you first time, I traded this incorrectly because I based my entry and exit off that $3 rather than basing it on the level that it had been respecting. That level, I'll submit to you, is the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. It did wick into there and then it bounced back up. So I've got a couple of outs on this bad boy, and I'm layering my outs above the high day. Currently 309s. I've got 308s and then 312s here. Let's see if this one holds up. Already making back some money on it. Firefly, Dang AI, shout out to one of our sponsors on the show. This is halted yet again to the upside. It is taking out that level that we talked about, that area of resistance on the daily chart. It's up 245%, and it makes this trade that I had here, which was almost which in fact was an 80 penny winner, look like the worst traded paper hands, whatever you want to call me. This one did break down lower than my entry, so I don't feel too bad about it, but this is halted yet again to the upside, $10.70. The theoretical auction price right now, the top showing 1071, so not much of a move above the current halt level, so we'll see exactly where this bad boy ends up once it does open up again. Pretty Panda, if AIFF does a Bright Mind Biosciences move, then I'm not going to care. But I wanted to show you that I still remember that crazy 4-day run it had. Trust me, my man, I know you remember. We talk a lot in the chat, and I know exactly how you're looking at things. Shout out to Pretty Panda. You're the one that showed me SOPA as well. Shout out to you. What else we got over here? Jimmy J, AIFF halts again to the upside. Absolutely. We just finished talking about that right now. Let's do this again, because I really want to drive home at this point, since we had an opportunity to talk about short squeezes today. It really does. Let's apply this IRL. So when we are now above the reverse split level that we put in back in August of 2024, that level there, I'll submit to you, is $10. So we've already caught some people offside. This one's the high of the day right now at 1070. So we're already taking these, or individuals who got short at around this level, they're getting squeezed. They're out of the money. They may be getting margin called right now at this level. So we took out that level. Now what's the next level? This next level is 1150. I'll submit to you between 1080 and 1150. We could have more shorts getting squeezed above that level over here. So once this bad boy opens, let's keep an eye out on the 1150 level, that 1080 to 1150. That is the area crest. Now above that level, we're really looking at much higher. at about 16 bucks. That takes us all the way back to March of 2024. So almost a year ago now. We haven't been above this level since, if we take out that 1150 level. So AIFF, it's on one. It's on some good stuff right now. We'll have to see what it's on, and then maybe we can get some of what it's taking, Joseph. AIFF halted to the high side 1070.
Hey, good luck there, guy. So Kurt Hutchinson's, no, it wasn't my decision. I just didn't really, I was just diving into the world of intraday trading, so I didn't have the privilege to do so. It's not that I didn't want to trade the Trump, but I just wasn't around for it. So yeah, it's that look. Guys, I mean, we're looking for a bounce here on the Qs. Market really selling heavy here. That pressure really stepped up. One thing I want to talk about is when we were first referring to it, is like, okay, yeah, well, that selling pressure was dwindling, but look at the momentum and steam it picked up onto the downside, especially punching through the volume-weighted average price. That volume starts to stair-step higher. So confirming this breakdown in the overall markets, guys, especially with the likes of Nvidia and Meta selling as well, too. So that can justify what was going on here. We need to monitor that and just wait for those turnaround signals. That's exactly why I'm in the Qs. Same thesis as Tesla, essentially. Heavy selling, heading back into some pre-market ranges, looking for that potential bounce on this potential isolated volume signature. So that is something that like a trade idea I built, and it's like, okay, let's see if this works out. Tried a couple of them on Tesla, didn't work out. That's fine. Today might not be the day for those styles of opportunities, but you got to take them as they come to see if they work. Otherwise, I would rather take it, stop out when I'm supposed to, than not take it and then it start working and me scratch my head, be like, oh, well, why didn't I just follow the system? And sure enough, that is what we are planning to do, guys. But let's take a look at a couple other things here. We have some top volume stocks on the session, and surprisingly, it is not Nvidia at the top of its class. It is INTC. All right, so with 95.2 million shares traded, Nvidia sitting in second place, and then SMCI as well sitting in third place, guys. But one thing I want to take a look at, and we were talking about it this morning, is the VIX, the volatility index. Oops, I don't want to pull up the chain. So I'm assuming now, without even having to look at the chart, you have to refer to its inverse correlation with the overall market. So the S&P there. So as we continue to move lower, you're going to see that VIX rise here, guys. So let's pull it up here from a 5-minute standpoint. And which I thought it would be spiking a little bit more here. So I don't know if this data for some reason is up to date. But here we go. As the market climbed higher, VIX drops. Now the market is selling, the VIX rises drastically. So we got to pay attention to that, especially individuals in the options market. You don't want to get caught in some of these volatility onslaughts, because we know with heightened VIX comes heightened volatility. But let's see what Adair is up to, guys.
The testimony has ended. This meeting has been adjourned now. So Chair Powell no longer answering questions from the Senate Banking Committee. Just be aware of that. Also here, I just want to give you guys a little announcement. I teased this earlier, but we do have a new post on X from TTV Research, and it covers last night's incredibly brief, and when I say brief, I mean it lasted less than 20 minutes, Twitter exchange between Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, and Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla. In case you missed it, basically we had the Wall Street Journal reporting at 3:39 p.m. that a consortium led by Elon Musk is basically going to make it unsolicited $97.4 billion bid for OpenAI, but you could not predict what happens next. And by that, I mean a pretty heated Twitter exchange between the two billionaires. If you want to see more about this, go on X at TTV Research. I plan on making some longer posts on their whole history because they have quite the history. If you didn't realize this, Elon Musk was actually one of the co-founders of OpenAI alongside Sam Altman back in 2015. So there's quite the history here. Might be more posts on this, but in the meantime, take a look at this little backdrop of the 1-minute Tesla chart alongside these moves here in these tweets, guys.
Yeah, fight. I'm telling you, I think Elon wins that one, but you know, it wouldn't be fun to watch. It'd be sloppy. Fight? It'd be real sloppy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I would feel. It's one of those fights where you just cringe. You're like, no one get hurt or anything like that.
Yeah. It's like, don't take it easy.
Like take it easy. Maybe an arm wrestle.
We called him a swindler. I can't believe you responded to that, eh?
Swindler.
That was such a shot below the belt there. 9.74 because his that's getting sold off, the Twitter debt. To be fair, though, let's dive into that a little bit. The Twitter debt, we knew that some of the banks that had financed the acquisition of Twitter were selling off their debt to other third-party holders, but they were selling it at high, Joe, like 97, 98 pennies on the dollar, 96 pennies on the dollar. So it wasn't too much of a discount there for that. So, well, we'll have to see how that all works out. But yeah, that's an interesting
IPL,
dynamic.
go public with it. Bring it back public, man.
I don't think he does that for a while.
No.
I think he wants to get that all-in-one app, that WeChat kind of thing, and then maybe you add some value there. But right now,
well,
you take a bit of a haircut.
I think Zuck's a little closer to WeChat, if anything, than maybe.
Good point.
Then
I don't know. Is he going for that though?
I think he tried. He tried.
Yeah,
he tried with
DM.
DM Coin. Are you familiar with DM Coin?
No, I don't.
Yeah. So he tried to start something up. So it's like Meta would just have this all-in-one currency, but it was obviously held by Meta. So that's why a lot of the crypto world space and the crypto space didn't like it, because it's not really decentralized. Zuck and company would hold everything. So they didn't go through with that one there, guys. But here we go, starting to rebound in this market. We're in the TQQs, Sharif. That selling was awfully hefty, but now starting to recover. Nvidia pulling back as well too, is with the likes of Meta. But guys, let's just take a look at Tesla. This thing is doing bupkis. As the market continues to recover, this thing's doing nothing. This is a weak stock. Throw it away, unless you're a bear. Where has our guy Kyle been as of late? Haven't seen him for a while. KB, not in the chat. But here we go with Tesla, getting closer to his price target. He might even have hit it, to be honest with you, with the little bet that we had. But this thing is not something you want to be involved in, especially if you're a bull, right? Market recover rally. Tesla doing nothing. See you later. It's kind of like that in that AMD stage right now, when everybody else is buying things back up. Nothing is happening in that underlying asset. So be wary of that. So that's exactly why we just stick to the broader market and hopefully recover back to VWAP, because that selling pressure was really, really, really strong. So let's see. Bang. Joe, Chet GPT $5. Joe, got caught in my new Nvidia calls because I didn't have stopping yet. Bad risk management, but I bought some more on that massive dip, and even now. I mean, yeah, it happens. I don't know how much, I don't know how much time you have on those contracts. I talk about it a lot, and I think that's one thing that you really need to pay attention to, is that all these premiums may seem juicy and good and attractive to the eye. Oh, it's cheap, it's here. But essentially, it's the options market just being like, you know what, we got you on that one, because they're a lot smarter than you, than me personally, but they'll price you out to the point where it's like something looks attractive, but then time will just chew up the value of those contracts. So that's something you always need to keep an eye out on. Always buy a little bit more time. I do like this dip buy here on NVDA, especially if you were to catch it a little bit lower, but give me a little more detail on those contracts, Chet. What expiration cycle and what strike price did you acquire those contracts at? And then I'm going to pull them up on my chain and see what you're looking at as well too. But that's something that I was referring to this morning, is with the likes of Nvidia and Google. I think that those stocks have reached and peaked in volatility, so that average true range is slowly starting to dwindle. If you look at NVDA, it's almost picture perfect, and I think that's going to be the same case here with Google. And something that I'm bullish on, that's when I like to construct these high probability put trades, okay? So a bull put spread, that's going to put a lot of premium in my pocket, and every day that the volatility dwindles, that's just me collecting theta day after day, and I love that stuff, Shree.
It must feel nice to collect.
Yeah,
you know, you go in there at the end of the day, you've collected a little bit, you know what I mean?
A little passive on the side, right? Low risk.
There it is.
That's it, man. But yeah, good stuff here. I'll send it to you in a second.
Yes,
but TQQs getting back towards the volume weighted average price. We're gonna look to take it out here, start piecing things out. Beautiful recovery. Gorev, I don't know if you're in the chat, my guy, but did you see that hammer on the Qs? Our thesis on Tesla didn't work, but it's really panning out nice and well here on the TQQs, my guy.
Yes, sir. All right, just throwing in a stop right now. We're going to take a small attempt here at AIFF as it zigs and zags. Yeah, we got stopped out already. Super quick on this one as it broke that $10 area. So, but yeah, I know it's insane. It's 1151 high, Katina, man. So that's a big move right now for AIFF. But this is the one I'm involved in right now. I'm holding on to ORMP. I want to see if this one can continue to move up. It's having trouble above 3. I mean, I was going to say it had trouble with 3, but then it gets up into that 303. We already had prints into 305s, but this one not as forthcoming, not as parabolic, not as strong, obviously, as some of its counterparts today. I'm talking about SOPA and how that one's traded, obviously AIFF as well, as that one's in a bit of a zone right now where it's neither breaking above the highs nor breaking below the lows. So it just kind of wicked below 10 bucks, stopped me out, but right above 10 bucks it goes. So AIFF was halted. It was a down halt for one of the first down halts we've seen on the day. It does move right back above 10 though, but it's having trouble with that $10 area. Now, there is an interesting area of support in and around that $9 area. Look at that 5-minute candle at 1120. That rejected 9 bucks. You also have the 10 exponential hanging out at that $9 area as well. So that could be an interesting area on AIFF if we can catch it to the long side. We'll just have to see who's in charge right now. Is it buyers or sellers? So we've already taken out multiple important levels on the daily where we could have, shorts who got their position initially at that level. Let's see exactly if we can continue to move up off that level. I'm probably going to wait at around 9.5, maybe even a little bit below that 9.25 on AIFF. If it can drop below 9, come back into that 10 exponential moving gang average, we'll take it there. But right now it's zigging and zagging to no end. All right, ORMP back below 3 again. It is still putting in higher highs and higher lows though. Not higher highs. We definitely need to take out that 309 for the higher high, but we have a higher low situation. I've already put my stop below 90 pennies. Don't want to give too much back on this name. But I'm going to keep my eye here on AIFF because it's there is some good potential for some big profits on this one. We just got to get the timing right. Last time we had the timing right. Don't want to be silly and give back too much on it, but I'm looking certainly at that 10 exponential moving average for a possible entry. Now, let me tell you about this though. It has a tendency to breach the 10 exponential only to regain it super quick. So this is the area I'm talking about over here. The 5-minute candle at 1140 and 1145 did breach that 10 exponential on a straight basis, but quick as you like, we were above it and then we took out highs. So this has a tendency to breach some key levels that you could be gauging for an entry. So be mindful of that. Here comes 9.25. That's what I'm looking for here on the 10 exponential. Now it may halt at this level. I'm not exactly sure what the halt levels are onto the downside. I think we were halted last time at just around 10 bucks. 10, maybe 01, 10, something like that. But that was the halt level there. So I'm not sure exactly where to expect the halt. Well, it should be 9. Right? 10, well, yeah, in and around that level. So we'll see if this one can catch a bid above the 10 exponential, maybe start putting in some higher highs and higher lows. I'm all ears. Let's see what else. There's a big seller here at 75, though. Several thousand lots. I'm going to submit to you about 3,000 lots, give or take, at 75. Let's look. As the tape slows down and gets a little bit closer to that $0.75, we'll be able to see the size more fully. Here we go, getting close to that $0.25. There we go. There's the big size. And on top of that, there it goes. Just got taken out, no problem on AIFF. Back into that $10 area it goes. And it's got a bottoming tail now, Candle Joseph, off that 10 exponential. So if you bought out that 10 exponential, you're printing up a storm right now, almost $1 in the money as this thing takes out 10 again. But it could drop. That's the thing. We haven't cleared that higher high. We're still not above that 1050. That 1050 would be the new high. So you have a higher low. That would be the higher high there on AIFF. Zigging and zagging right now. 226% Lots of strength on this name. Let's see if we can get above that 1050, but it's a great dip trade. If you had that 10 exponential retracement, it gets bought up aggressively and then some. off that. Back to ORMP as this one breaks down now below that 95 level where I'm long, and it's going to have to hold 88s because that's where my stop is. So we're going to give this one a little bit of room, but we're going to be really focusing on AIFF. SOPA, another one we had a really good trade on. Breaking down, Joseph. This is an interesting area, though. This area right here. Now, I'm not going to go long here because it's below VWAP, but we did find support at this area last time. I'm talking about SOPA and this area between, I want to say 1138 and 1145. We did find buyers that stepped in at around that $3 3/4 area. We'll have to see if they step in again, but the SOPA is up 45%. It's below VWAP now with lower highs and lower lows. So that's the area high, that's a lower high, that's the area low, that's a lower low. So we'll see if this one can continue trend, but right now it's in a bit of jeopardy. Okay, back to what's this one called? ORMP, and I'm going to get stopped out of this bad boy as it comes down into my entry, but we did de-risk a couple over here, but now this, I'm done with this trade. It definitely does not have continuity through that $3. It's attempted $3 several times, each and every time. It's been a rejection. Thankfully, I've been able to scalp some out, so I haven't been taking the full hit, but this one is having a lot of trouble continuing through that $3 area, so just take a hint. Right? That's kind of what I'm saying to myself here. Take a hint. This one doesn't have the continuity. So we're going to focus on AIFF or or any other, I should say, excuse me, small cap gapper that finds its way onto the scene. I'm seeing here LTRY might be interesting. Let's throw that up on the side chart over here. LTRY. It's up, I believe, about 30%. Let me load this LTRY. Oh, here we go with AIFF. Still hasn't taken out that 10.5 though. So if that one doesn't take out 10.5, you know, well then I'm just not going to trade it. So here we go. Let's put that in and throw that on there. So if that 10.5 break comes, we'll take it. But let's look at LTRY though quickly over here. Oh, where's it at? LTRY. Let's look at the 5-minute chart on this bad boy. Yeah, so kind of light volume a little bit. I mean, 9.5 million shares on a dollar name. I mean, that's still not the best. It does have this area of support at $1.56, possibly over here. It does have a topping tail into that $1.75. This 150, 160 could be an interesting buy. I'd have a tight stop below that though, because this one does look like it's topping tail right now with some selling coming in at that $0.75. LTRY is the ticker I'm talking about. It's about $17.75 million market cap with, as I mentioned, about 9.5 million shares traded on the day. I don't know what the float is. Allow me a second to find out. The float's around 4.2 million shares, and the short float is LTRY, about 5.11%. So not a bad look for LTRY here. I mean, it's got a lot of good supporting this possible trade. Let's load it up on a trading screen here and see if we can weasel in for a good entry. LTRY on the NQ, still showing me 67s on the ask. Stevenson ATN, I want to take this time to give a big shout out to Sheree. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate you, Steven ATN or Stevenson ATN. Thank you very much for that, brother. I do appreciate you always. And Joseph and I and the Katina man and Daniil and Brendan and Adara, we're always doing the absolute most in a good way to give back to the show. I don't know if you realized, but today we hit a huge milestone for the show. 500,000 subscribers, and we're almost at 501,000, believe it or not. We have 632 above that 500,000 mark. So we're just going to shout everybody, guys, and thank you guys for always giving back. And if you haven't already, smash that like, hit that subscribe, and if you find it in yourself to share the stream, because obviously that's how we grow. Maybe somebody that you know is interested in trading, maybe they're doing swing trades, maybe they're even investing. As you saw, we had about 10,000 viewers on the market recap show last week when we had those earnings play. So there's a lot of investors as well that come to us to see what the earnings outcome is, and we give you the data quick as you like, better than some other let's call them regular lineal TV channels.
Okay.
That have a bit of an interesting bias.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
You're not going to get that over here.
You're not going to get that over here. There's no way you're getting over that. over here, guys. But hey, I want to show something. I want to display something. If we're going to pay attention ever, I think it's going to be maybe to this point here, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
All right. So look, I'm going to go through a number of stocks. Okay. So here's the cues. Isolated. Here, actually, let me do this here. Okay. Here's the cues, guys. Isolated signature, stopping volume. Beautiful. We love that. SPY. Let's pull this up here. Identical price action. Isolated signature, stopping volume, turnaround. Okay, we're gonna go over one more, NVDA. Isolated volume signature, stopping volume. I can do one more if you guys really want me to. You know what I mean? It's the same thing over again. And here it is on Meta, guys. The exact same signal displaying itself time and time again. Isolated volume signature. There it is. On 4 different underlyings, you're having that turnaround volume. This is what we look out for every day, all right? So just keep your eyes on it. That's why we traded the cues here. Just gave you 4 examples. Hopefully you guys are paying attention to that, because that's something I'm looking out for every day. 500K, Thomas Gist, okay, a new one. 500K, LFG, thanks. Congrats, been rocking with you since 200K. Love you guys, bang, OG. I don't even know if I was watching the show with 200K. You know, I told you this story, Sharif, one day when I was trading at home, just scanning, I'd be watching my regular CNBC, and then this channel pops up on my feed, and it's like Trader TV Live, live trading. I'm like, what is this? Boom, click it. I'm like, oh, I watch it for the day. So it was you and somebody else and the boys here. And then I sent it to all my
No
friends.
way.
Yeah,
I
sent it to all my friends. I'm like, man, you guys got to check these guys out. This is sick stuff. And then that's when Greg V, my buddy from Phoenix, and Dan from Detroit, all these guys started watching the show. So it's been a while. It's been a couple years, and I would always tune in. I never thought I'd be sitting here.
I had a very similar experience, but what I did was I went into YouTube. This is during the pandemic. I typed in day trading, and that was the first thing that popped up, and it was the day trading show. And ever since then, your boy has been a daily viewer. I remember exactly what year it was, what month it was. It was December 2021. That's when I started watching the show, and then lo and behold, I found myself on the show August of 2022, and more proud and more happy I could not be. Shout out to this team, man. Absolutely an amazing result. No question about it. 500,000 subs, not an easy task. Joseph. All right, guys, here we go. Oh, we already got another super chat.
Yeah.
Stevenson, shout out to my man Stevenson ATN. Thank you, Sharif Gobriel and Joseph W. for the lesson du jour. My man is dropping French because he's French. I see that last name. That lesson on VWAP made me 10 grand since you guys had it. Big thank you to you guys. My man is making money in the chat, dude, and it warrants the spin, the money. The Katina man is going to yell out money, money, money for you there with Miss V, who hasn't been on the show in many years, and Brendo riding the train there. So shout out to the best team out there, no question about it. Very proud, Joseph.
I'm going to send him my email. Maybe we can get a little commission off that one.
There you go.
Would never. But no, a couple beers, though. I'll never complain about that. It's been a while since your boy had one. I don't even think I had any. I didn't even drink it during the Super Bowl. I turned it on. So, dude, I turned on the Super Bowl, and the first play that I watched was a flag on an essentially nothing play. And I'm like, this is exactly why I stopped watching.
But that was like
resulted in a first. It was right at the beginning. But it was a pivotal moment because it was like a first down, right? Right after, I'm like, okay, this right back to just how it always was. So we decided to change that real quick and watch something else. But that's it there, guys. TQQ's still in this one. Nice bounce off the bottom. I just went over multiple examples on those styles of trades that we are looking for. Potential bottoming or topping signals. That's the name of the game. That's what we're looking for. Let's see what Adair is up to.
Just be aware here of the market, a little bit of volatility, because we do have more comments coming from President Donald Trump about the situation in Gaza with regards to the ceasefire, saying, in case you missed it, he did also once say that the U.S. should be taking over or buying Gaza. He did actually echo this, saying, we're going to take over Gaza, quote. Also saying that Hamas must have all of its hostages out by that Saturday deadline at noon, or, quote, all bets are off. So we do have a little bit of uncertainty here with regards to the ceasefire market. Definitely on watch, fluctuating a bit, guys.
Thank you very much, Adair. Shout out to Jay Lee. He's like, you missed that SMCI long off 39. It's almost at 40. I'm looking at it. Yeah, Katina, man, it tanked, brother. It was down aggressively on the day. I'm being handed the sticky note right now and obviously being implied to read it out. SMCI 39 long, nice level, and back to that 200 period moving average ahead of earnings tonight. Get it, Katina, man. I appreciate the sticky note being 5-day right now at $1.80. It's really going here. Nice breakout level. That move back down to $1.60. That should have been the entry because, well, that was the 10 exponential. And it was also a previous area of resistance. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know if you guys can see that, Wick. Yeah, you can, because I can see it off that $1.56. It comes into $1.58, and then all hell breaks loose to the top side. This one's taking out levels at $1.82 right now on LTRY. It's not the biggest mover on the day, certainly, but it's up 45%, and it's got a predictable higher low, higher high pattern. I possibly like it off that $1.75 retracement. Okay, so we'll see if it can make its way down there. Obviously, we topped off at $1.78 initially, but the closing prints were all at 175. We're showing 182 right now. Great strength on this name as it takes out the highs. Not really sure what the catalyst is on this one. Lottery.com, does it have yes, it does have a catalyst. Okay, Lottery.com shares are trading higher after the company announced its brand Sports.com entered a multi-year partnership with Soccer Rex. Okay, so they're doing that with their Soccer Rex. Don't know what Soccer Rex is, not sure, but apparently it's good enough for the market to boost this bad boy up 45%, trading currently at the high of the days, 182 right now on LTRY. And I did have a quick look at the LTRY float. It's about 5.11%. So not the biggest, but definitely a decent level there. I'm still waiting on AIFF. I've been packing my patience on this one. I've been watching this one make lower high, lower high, lower high. But all the while, this area here at 940 is the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. And so far, AIFF has bounced off the 10 exponential. Now, that's not really a glowing endorsement. Let me tell you why. Because we've still been putting in those incrementally lower highs. So currently, whether we're above the 10 or the 20 or VWAP, the sellers are in control as they push this one incrementally lower and lower and lower. I want to see where it catches a bid. I currently have a stop that you can't see right now. It's at 10.5, and it's at 10.5 to go long because that's a breakout level for me. We zigged and zagged at that 10.5 for a while. Now we're below the 10 exponential, and there is price action support right over here, right at that 880, 890. I'll submit to you it's more like 9, but we'll have to see if it holds up because right now sellers are in control, and I don't want to be a part of this trade as it definitely keeps dropping. But LTRY doing the exact opposite of that right now. I'm feeling awfully bad about myself not having punched in here. It's zigging and zagging, Joseph, at that $1.95. It's looking like it wants to take out 2. It's up 54% now, and the volume is really stepping in. The volume was flat all morning, and I'll submit to you the biggest volume candles on the day have been done at 12:20 and now at 12:35. So the volume coming in de novo during the day, it's not a pre-market runner. It's not an after the bell runner. It is a midday runner, baby. LTRY, there goes into 204. The volume is picking up, and the squeeze is on right now. LTRY, it's up 65%. We were just saying 40-something%. That's 20% right there. So keep your eye out on this one. I'm going to look for an entry. Not punching in at highs, but this one is on one, Joseph.
Hey, it is on one, guys. I'm seeing some people having some issues with the stream here. Just refresh, and everybody seems to be just fine. So yeah, sound might keeps going in and out. A lot of people are talking about it. So guys, just refresh the channel, and then sure enough, everything should work. Okay. So yeah, let us know if that works. Yeah, sound cutting in and out. So I think it's just a YouTube thing. So just refresh. Everybody says it's fine after you refresh it. So Ted says it's clear. Good stuff. Might be just some internet connections there, guys. So a nice little refresh, and that should solve the problem. SMCI, yeah, same thing, guys. Back here, trading back just below the volume-weighted average price. Be wary of some key support levels that can possibly act as resistance, guys, around that 40, 50 level, and then you might get some rejection there. So I'm gonna see what you guys are saying in the chat. Sound, yeah, the sound, it's good now. fix your mic. It's not the mic, just Oksana, just refresh the stream, and that should work on everything because I don't think we're having any technical difficulties on this side here. So yeah, guys, let us know if that works once you refresh it and then come back into the chat. Everything should be kosher from that point. But here we go, guys. Still sitting in this TQQ trade, looking for it to rebound now, rejecting view at pretty hefty, and that downside volume really starting to pick up and that momentum. I know Katina Man said he's shorted right now, but we're long it from 84.50. So looking for that continuation. If we can hit that dollar club, that'll be really nice. Talking to Gorev in the chat, we still have about, you're in the dollar club?
No, I hit that for you, bro.
I'm not in it though.
You said if we could hit that dollar.
If we could hit it.
Oh,
yeah, you know what I mean? I'm still in line.
I'm
I'm still in line. I'm gonna get, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm still in line. Yeah, it's all right. I'm still in line. They're checking me at the front door here on the dollar club, guys. So yeah, we're gonna continue to hold this, buying back in here now. That pressure is starting to build up to the top side. Let's see if we can continue. I'd like this as a potential just breath in this underlying, because you can see nice movement to the top side, low volume in that selling pressure, and then once we step back in, you see those buyers really start to pick up the pace here, guys. So yeah, just again, refresh that stream, hop right back in the chat because there's a lot to cover. And surprisingly, believe it or not, Sharif, Meta getting close towards those highs a day again. So we went over that volume signature. It's now recovered a lot, just about a couple dollars off of that high a day, and then maybe even go and push that all-time highs. Maybe not. We're still a bit off of that, around 725. But if the steam really picks up, it's nothing for Meta to move $10 or so in the session. And I mean, we're still relatively flat, not even up a 0.1% here, guys. So, I mean, nice recovery on this one. Let's see what Google's up to as well, because that's something that I'm looking for to slowly start to recover. And sure enough, it's not. Still kind of in the dumps is Google. So we have to really plan out this thesis and stick to those definitive levels and those outs, all right? So we need to be weary of that. If we break the 183, then that thesis is invalid, okay? We need to monitor that. We have to stick to those rules. We have to stick to those game plans. We do believe that this stock is going to turn around, but we just need to be patient enough in order for that signal to display itself, and then that's when we decide to take those trades higher and higher, Sharif.
Don't turn around, because you're going to see my heart breaking. Don't turn around. I don't want to see da-da-da-da. I don't know the words.
I don't even know that song.
Ace of Base, bro.
Oh, who's Ace of Base?
Yeah.
Man?
Well, I'm 100, so, well, that's kind of the only reason. And
okay,
it opened up my eyes, I saw the sign. Life is demanding. Sorry, because you said don't turn around. You said this thing is going to turn around. So I was like, yo, bro, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Don't turn around.
Okay, I was going to say, yeah, if you sang Sean's part, I would have maybe cut on a little bit there.
My bad, bro. I'm sorry to everybody in the chat. You guys had to deal with me singing. You know, it's probably not a good thing. I do apologize. Yeah, I know, Bishop. It's terrible. I suck. I never claim to be good at singing, but you know. Get it.
Oh, whoa, look at the massage.
I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you always encouraging me. He's like, sing it. Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. So we're keeping those Canadians is right. Okay. We're having a good time up here, man. It's cold. You know, it's windy outside. What do you want from us, man? Come on now. We're just joking, Ryan. Okay. Thank you for joining us as well, guys. I'm looking at LTR dang Y, and I got stopped out of it for a 10 penny lose. Well, a little bit less, because this one didn't hold $2. It's above the 10 exponential. Hold on. I'm being.
The most heavily traded name at Real Trading.
Yeah. The most heavily traded name in all of Real Trading, and we have like 300 offices, okay? AIFF. Is anybody surprised by that? It's only done 141 million shares, Katina, man. That's not that much. And I'm kidding, of course, if you're a newer trader, that's a lot, okay? Maybe it'll pick up eventually, he says. No, but seriously, I'm keeping my eye, guys, on LTRY. It did a monster topping tail into 220. It comes back down below $2. It's zagging, but it's holding up a predictable area over here. This area that we rejected originally, this $1.80, $1.75. Have a look. That's an area, previous area of resistance. Could it be that we come back into that area and then we have buyers step in for support? So I'm interested in getting back into this one. I'm 0 for 1 on it, looking to do a bit better. It's shown you its propensity to move midday, and that's what I like about these ones. The ones that are not just running in the pre-market, not the ones that are running right after the bell and then kind of die off during the midday. This one has a bit of support right now. We're going to weasel in here, and I'm going to look to DCA into that $1.75, okay? So that's going to be my move. I'm going to look to DCA into that $1.75, and then if it doesn't hold a $1.70, well, then it's going to be the end of the matter. So come what may, we'll look to do a little bit better on this one on the second time around. Let me throw in a dip trade over here at that $1.75 so we can get filled in case it wicks down quick as you like. So at my move in here into that $1.70, I'm going to give it room. That's where VWAP is. Currently, it's at $1.69, but you know we're gonna give it a little bit of room. But I'm looking for this one to hold up above that level. It's having trouble with 2, so I look to scalp in front of 2. It's gonna have to hold this level though. Joseph Wilson, what do you got on that side?
Yeah, Bones 562. Bones says Bones 562.
I'm getting trolled.
Yeah. He says the volume is working, unfortunately. So.
I'm never going to claim to be a good singer, bro, but you guys are going to have to put up with me for a little bit.
I'm not good either, man. They take the mic from me at karaoke night, so.
I've never even been to karaoke, and I live near Little Korea, too, bro.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, they don't like me on the mic there, Sharif. Oh, but yeah, I mean, guys.
Koreans love karaoke, Katina, man. Just come to Little Korea. Every next store is karaoke, bro. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Every other shop is a karaoke shop. It literally is. Yeah,
anybody who lives in Toronto, if you've been to Yonge and Finch, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Every next shop is a karaoke.
North on Yonge, north of the 401. Everything is. As soon as you pass that Hero Burger and every other store is a karaoke shop.
Sir.
So yeah, good stuff here in Toronto, guys. But I mean, this market's slowly starting to recover. With the exception of Tesla, I mean, we've seen the bounce in the market, and we're not getting the same rebound here. So a little bit tougher look. I'm not necessarily the most bearish individual, right? So I prefer to look for long setups. So again, it just doesn't suit my playbook right now, and that's okay. We'll just find some other things. But let's see what IBIT's up to, because Bitcoin is also just continuing to move to the south side. So yeah, we continue to construct new lows on the day in IBIT, down about 1.4% on the session. So not the strongest one. And heading into some key support levels, guys, we need to really take that into consideration. Or how many times are we going to test them until they're eventually breached? And I think this might be the time. I could be wrong. If we bounce once again, then it's probably hitting that price target that Sharif needs to get those IBIT shares. But I mean, so Joe, the pullback volume on VWAP on TQQs is almost gone. Are we anticipating buyers return around key levels here? I want to know how you read volume. So yeah, I mean, that's a really good look. We'll talk about that right now, Gorev. So what I was looking at, and again, this move can be extended, right? So now that we're in this trade at the break of that volume candle, essentially what we do is when we piece it out here, we now have our stop at break even. So as soon as we take profit, we just get out, right? We don't want to turn a winning trade into a loser. So as of right now, yes, that pullback volume is dwindling, but is this the question is, and only time will be able to tell us this, and that's kind of the part of day trading, right? You just have it's just constant incomplete information, and that's where the speculation comes into play. So what we have to look at here is, yes, you're right, Gaurav, that volume on the pullback is dwindling, but can we reclaim VWAP and then reclaim this high here? Because as you can see, there's some key resistance levels. We rejected to a T almost, where the market took its breath here earlier in the session and then made that second leg higher. We are now running into that. So you can see this this accumulation phase here. Right, it took this consolidation phase, took some time. And that will be the same case here, except for there wasn't enough buyers to step in to hold it in that same range. So as we head to the south side, we really need those buy programs to kick in order for us to break through these key levels. As of right now, like from a volume by time standpoint, we can't really, like, we want to dissect it, but a lot of it's noise, and that's what to do. That involves the tape as well too. So the reason the way that I analyze volume is just at really key levels, because in here it's like, okay, what are we analyzing here as the price is appreciating? Like, this is all a bunch of just noise, in my opinion. Really what I want to focus on is the volume and price at key levels, which would be at an extreme high or at an extreme low. And that's just how I would analyze it. And it's the same with the tape. You want to look at it look at the tape in the time of sales, which we will go over this Thursday, where you want to really hone in on it and really analyze it. It's not throughout the whole session. It's just at key specific levels that you have your eye on, and that will help you display the weakness and or the strength. Sharif.
All right, we're in AIFF again at 70. Here we go with the quarter. Can we get, we're huge seller at 20s. Taking it out here. There we go. Nice move. Okay, happy with this one. Got in at nice 70. Took it out at 1020. That was super quick. I'm sorry. Kind of a hard trade to follow there if you're looking at the screen because I got in and got out super quick. But this one, I feel there because we got in to the near the highs. Now you're getting a lot of shorts that are trying to reinstitute their position. Now but basically, I'm guessing here, an educated guess, a lot of shorts got squeezed out. They may want to get their short position back in at a bit of a lower level. So be careful with this one. Having trouble with 10. I've canceled my order above 10.5 for a breakout trade. I will not take a breakout trade on AIFF, okay? So this is just my plan on it right now. Now, I'm in another trade right now. I'm 3 pennies out of the money here on LTRY. This comes back in to the volume weighted average price, and I had a dip buy ready at that $1.75. So I picked it up at a $1.75. It's gonna have to hold VWAP. Otherwise, I want no smoke. We're long 79s. It's showing me 74s. If it doesn't curl off that VWAP, and I've given it a bit of room, I don't want to hold on to it. B bought 5,000. My man is dropping cash in the chat. Congrats on 500,000 midday mustache and muscle. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you very much. B bought 5,000. One of the chat OG's been seeing his name in chat for a hot minute. Can't thank you enough. Obviously, you are one of the reasons we are at that 500,000 and change. Every one of you guys watching right now contributed to the success. And we honestly, we've been doing this for a long time, and we've been really wanting to hit that 500,000 mark. And quite frankly, lately, we've been really getting a lot of new viewers. We've been hitting record numbers, Katina, man. We did record numbers, I believe, the week before last, or it was last week, one of the two. I mean, all-time record numbers, even COVID era record numbers. And everybody and their mother's third cousin was at home during the time. So you'd think if we were doing record numbers, it would have been during COVID. But what's his name? Donald John Trump bringing in volatility into this market for good or for worse. And now we've got a whole bunch of you, and we could not be happier, guys, because, well, it's a great time to trade. If you're an intraday trader, you aspire for volatility, meaning things move up and down intraday. That's how you make money as a day trader. Things stay still. While you might make money as an investor slowly but surely, but you need that intraday volatility in order to day trade. So we're pleased as Dang Punch. As one of the OGs, the human algo at the big desk over there likes to say a lot. Shout out to Adara LePage. Yep. I appreciate you, Daryl.
Everybody's trying to get it now, eh?
Why not, bro? Tell her to get it.
Just get it.
Why can't she tell me to get it? You know, I want to get it sometimes too, Joseph.
Everybody want to get it.
So that's the situation right now.
The can man.
We're having a good time.
We'll call you the can man.
Hey, why?
Because everyone can get it.
Oh, see, this is why you're smart. I'm an idiot. All right, guys. We're taking some out here on your friend LTRY as it curls back up, makes a new 5-minute candle to make a new dang high. And now we're going to take out some a little bit over here as well as we curl back up. Now I've layered my orders in front of 90 and then in front of 2. So this thing's up 50%. It comes into that 10 exponential. It comes into VWAP. And then all of a sudden, we're getting a bit of a bid. And more pleased I could not be. I'm waiting at 89s. Let's see. We're showing 89s on the ask. But we got to cross. It's a dollar name. I mean, do I really need to wait that long? Let's go 50% and change. Let's see if we can take out 2. I want to save the majority of my outs for this one if it can get a little parabolic. So we'll have to wait and see. Joseph Wilson, LTRY at 50%.
Yes, sir. Just sending. I sent a couple there, Sharif, if you just check
absolutely
the thing there. So close that up.
Yeah,
you can switch it up. Yeah, you can obviously switch it up. One more is required.
We need 5.
Yeah, we do. Is it 4?
I'm playing, bro.
Okay.
It's a joke from earlier.
Yeah, I'm like, man, are you sure, man? But okay. But yeah, guys, here we are. I mean, we're just kind of just chopping around right now, to be honest with you. So nothing overly crazy going on at this point. Let's see what we got going on. I had, what about Tesla?
Get it, Katina Man. What's going on over there?
So guys, Katina Man's in the money, right?
He's killing it. We something.
Also, Adara reminded me of something. So Adara, next time we send it to you, do you want to get that ready? Maybe if we can see it, that would be fantastic. Because absolutely stellar trade, and I like what you wrote there. But I mean, here we go. Meta did put in somewhat, got close to a new high a day, but now it's kind of just tapering off. That's okay. Bitcoin continuing to sell here, guys. So yeah, I mean, the momentum's definitely slowed down in the markets. But we're just going to be patient. I mean, one thing that I don't like is what Google's looking like from a daily perspective, because it does look like we might breach this low at this pace. But that indecision and with the ATR really tightening up, hopefully we get a bounce. I think this could be 182 could be the next support level. So that's why I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna execute this trade here, we're gonna use 180s as the outs for the swing, and then look to take it back to the top side. But as of right now, sentiment not looking too good on this thing. Tesla continuing to just do nothing really, down hefty on the day. Sharif slowly curling over again, but again, not like it's not when the market rallies and recovers, this thing's doing nothing. So that just says it's really, really weak and no one's ready to step in and start buying this thing, and that's okay. But yeah, what else are we looking at in the chat, guys? Mention in the chat what we're looking at. We have a lot going on. Curious to see what everybody else is. NVDA MACD flipping on the 132 support long here, says ChatGPT. Thank you for that $2 super chat. Much appreciated. So yeah, guys, whatever you are looking at and you want me to take a gander, just put it in the chat. I'll go over it. I'll be more than happy to do so. We're still in this TQQ trade, looking for this curl over back north of 85, and then the continuation. I don't know if we're going to go and test this high a day, because it's quite a ways away, but only time will tell. So people are saying Broadcom. Yeah, okay, let's see what we got going on with Broadcom here. Sharif, before we send it back to you. I mean, here we go from a daily perspective. Holding up pretty tough here, guys, is Broadcom. I do like this pattern. We breached this gap. Now we're fully engaged into it. So let me, if I can hide this. Okay, yeah, never mind. We're not going to get into that right now. But I do think that this thing cracks a little bit higher, running into some key resistance levels. Man, a lot of gap fills I'm missing out on here, Sharif. But that's okay. So Broadcom looking really nice. I do think it's only a matter of time until this thing goes and tests all-time highs. We'll pull up PLTR because that's what a lot of people are saying Broadcom, so we just went over that. Then we will go about PLTR, and then we'll do APLD and send it back to Sharif. Here we go. Sharif wanted to buy some puts on this thing. I think that's a good idea, as we are extremely extended. The RSI, guys, go check out that recent video from Tradertv.live and then see where the RSI is on Palantir. I can tell probably without even looking at it that it's extremely overbought. So looking for that reversion back into this gap fill on PLTR. And then let's take a look at one more before we send it off to Adara. We went over Meta, we went over PLTR, Broadcom, and then KULR, for sure, KULR. I think this is more Sharif's realm here, which it seems to be the case. KULR Technologies Group. I mean, what a monster run on. Yeah, what a monster run here, Sharif, from a technical standpoint. From the bottom to the top here, up over 1,400%. So really nice since mid-November, late November there, but now pulling back off those highs is KULR. Approximately 57%. So living in that small cap realm, Sharif. Here for a good time, not necessarily a long time.
Yes, sir. We'll talk more about KULR when we get back from Adara at the big desk.
That's it.
With a lot of weakness in the market and a lot of weakness in crypto, for our little baby crypto segment, I thought let's look at Cardano on the daily chart because it's actually up on the day and quite significantly so. At one point when we talked about this during the morning, usually it's around 10:30 a.m. our crypto segment, we did have Cardano up 13%, definitely pulling back a bit. And it's interesting, the area from which it pulled back is going to be 80 cents. So this 80-cent level is certainly significant for ADA to USD. We had a bit of a volume spike when we started to kind of reject this level here, that 82-cent level. So right now, trying to hold 76, but I think certainly if we can get above that 82-cent level, that'd be pretty key because we also rejected it back on November 16th. Overall, Cardano definitely kind of making some lower highs after the election, as you can see here, getting that peak of 1.3 following the election, then running into some resistance at 1.1. But that 81-cent level certainly seems to be key. And then above that, maybe 84 cents. Also, in the crypto space, we have some comments from Ken Griffin of Citadel, specifically talking about crypto, saying that Trump should embrace, quote, regulation light for crypto, and also saying that Ken Griffin believes that regulation is actually going to be good for the crypto space because it will allow banks to get involved. So some regulation talks from Ken Griffin of Citadel. Keep an eye on crypto. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. I'm going to vote. I know Nvidia is going to get all the love, which is fine. I'm going to vote for the dead one because, well, it's my biggest position on the day. So I mean, they get a bit of a tailwind today, and I'm pleased as dang punch. Joseph, we got work to do though, don't we?
Dude, look at this here, man.
Let's have a look.
Look at all this data here.
That's ridiculous.
This is absolutely ridiculous.
Fantastic,
That is so fantastic. Look at the equity curve as well too. Positive stuff, and I'm tracking it as close as I possibly can. There may be a little error here and there, but other than that, guys, like look at all this data we've collected on the Playmaker poll. Like I truly hope that people were doing this, especially in your earlier years of trading, Sharif. This is something you need to do. When I first started working here, I had years of data collected in my binder. I was carrying it in my backpack every day, and I would go over it. Yeah, because I would write it down, right? So every day I would write it down, and my trades, everything.
Bro.
Oh no, this is different. This is a different notebook. Here, I'll show them this notebook. This is when I first started constructing like credit spreads and stuff, guys. If we can, here. So like this is just all the information. Like every day I would just write. Just constructing my spreads, constructing spreads, right? Like this is something that I just found that I absolutely love. More spreads, like go through this whole notebook.
That's fantastic.
Right? This is all just like me game planning on the weekend. I go on Sundays, I game plan, I write everything down. But now I do it in Notion, Sharif, so it's just everything's digital. I can go on one computer to the other. But one thing, the reason what I will write down, Sharif, will say is I liked writing things down because it's stuck in my memory a little bit better, right? So 100%. That's just me personally on that thing. But we got some more data to collect, guys, because that's what we do these days. We collect data. Trade number 42 on the Playmaker poll. That's almost 2 full months of collecting data. Hopefully you guys are doing this too. Tell me the entry price, my guy.
Okay, just set my stop back. Sorry. All right, guys, here we go. 603.60.
603.60.
That's what we're getting into right now on the spot.
Target
we're going to take everything at 605.60.
Love it.
So that's got to break the high of the day, Joseph. That's going to be a tough one there.
It's going to be a tough one there.
And then we take out everything, 602.60, which is a little bit higher than the low day.
That's all right. We'll take it in. We're in at 104 there, guys. Documenting this, February. Look at all, I got my dates wrong. Today's the 11th, guys. We got the 7th twice up here. 100 shares in. Let's see how this one works out. Hopefully we can reject VWAP and get that bounce. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, my thing froze, so I just had to refresh it there.
Fine.
But I think we'll be okay here. TQQ is slowly starting to recover. I'm just curious to what everybody had. I wanted to see what everybody was saying about collecting data in the chat. Because I still have all my other binders. Maybe I'll bring them in. But it's the most simplistic stuff, man. We did a lesson on constructing a trading playbook. It's just like write the time that you're in, write the underlying asset. Does it have a catalyst, yes or no? And were you profitable? And then also break it down in time frames, right? You got the morning session with Neil and Sean. Then you come midday with Sharif and I. And then you got the latter half, the afternoon session, right? You can divide your sessions into 3 as well, too. So hopefully you guys have been doing that. It's really helped me, refine me, and help me like realize what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, Sharif. So hopefully everybody's
fantastic,
doing that,
guys. Yeah. I really appreciate it. Shout out to my man ADL. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Shout out to Adam DeLuce. Thank you for joining us, Adam. Have a look at the viewer count, baby. Boom, we did it. All right, guys. Cat. Shout out to Cat G. Not this cat, but not that cat.
Like and
we missed that cat.
Today.
Who's that?
Today. You don't know who that is?
No, I have no idea.
Oh, wow, Joseph.
Who's that?
Wow. Okay. It's fine.
She used to work here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
She used to sit right there. Where what's his name? What's that guy called? Kai. Captain Protein used to take everybody's protein. Remember,
I didn't know that guy either.
You didn't know that guy either?
Dude, think about it. I came around when.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
All right,
It's not you. You're not the guy who take everybody's protein?
Well, no, that's people in the what's it called? In the algo room.
Oh, okay.
This guy was the real Captain Protein, bro.
Oh,
He'd
yeah?
come 5, 6 egg, whatever those egg saucer things
So he's
deep.
a gym
I bring
bro.
my own eggs from the house, bro. I bring 12 deep, but you know. Sometimes I like to save some for a little bit of a snack. And we no can do with these guys. Guys, let's talk about Lily. LLY. Mademoiselle Lily, as the Adara likes to call it. Look, it's a good look for Lilly lately. We're well off the highs, and I'll submit to you, we're now in a bit of an accumulation or distribution range. We've got a bit of a range here. Now, obviously, the range is hundreds of dollars wide because this is a very expensive stock. It looks like we do find support in the low sevens, whether you're looking at this area trough over here or this area trough. It looks like that 730, 725 has acted as a great level of support to the high side. I'll submit to you $900 has been a bit of an elusive target lately. We haven't been above 900 since about, I believe, what's it called? Halloween, since Raider Trader was here. So we've been kind of rejecting that $900 level, not able to break above it. So Lilly's a good name. I mean, there's obviously a lot of tailwinds behind this. GLP-1s are expanding in their use. People are using them for different reasons. We're now seeing, the form factor change from subcutaneous injections into oral form, which obviously will expand the TAM, the total addressable market, as a lot of people, they're averse to needles, which is fine. It's not the only player in the game. We know that Novo Nordisk as well is involved in this name. There's so many names right now, so many drugs that are coming onto market that are promising even more weight loss. We're seeing now in the mid-20s, 25 to 30% of your body weight. If you print anything below that during the study, it's selling off like anything low 20s, 21, 22, not meeting the market's demands. And so you need to keep an eye out for their studies. It's a biotech name, pharmaceutical name, whatever you want to call it. And it's got a specialized area of competency. Obviously, you have to understand how these work and what good catalysts and bad catalysts look like before the market as a whole makes that assessment. So Lilly, it's in kind of no man's land right now. I'm not talking about intraday trading, Lilly, because, that's not one for me. With respect to the intraday trade, though, we have been rejecting this closing print at 869, but we have been putting in higher lows multiple times. Now, we've gotten into that 869 only to see the sell-off. So Lilly technically flat on the day, but if it catches a bid here, it could really skyrocket. We already saw it touch 873.50, but that was on the opening print, the implied balance high, right at 930. So LLY putting in higher lows with a flat top looks like an ascending wedge, but that's intraday. Hope you don't put too much stock into that because I don't trade intraday. Adair's at the desk.
I mean, yeah, I was not here to comment on Lilly, but I will quickly because I'm here. 860 was huge resistance. As Shreve mentioned, we've not been above 900 since that earnings on October. It would have been October 30th for Eli Lilly, so that would be like the earnings before the last quarter. Anyways, they've not been above 900 since then, and now that they're back above 860 for the first time since that report. So 860 of note, 888 overhead resistance. With that in mind, Rivian, actual news here. We actually have RIVN apparently teasing an event on February 19th, posting this image that says, a mirage takes shape February 19th. So that is pretty vague. I will pull up the image here to show you guys, but apparently February 19th, some kind of mirage happening here for RIVN. This is the only image we have here. They're in the sand. They're saying there is a mirage. Be aware of this for Rivian. I guess February 19th, potentially an event to be aware of. With that, back to you.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Adair. And guys, by the way, Adaira's levels on Lilly are going to be more sound than I. She trades it. She's looking at it constantly. She even has a nickname for it. I mean, if that's not a glowing endorsement, I don't know what is, right? No, just get it, Adaira. No, seriously, though, I mean to say that. So keep your eye out on her levels. I don't watch it all that much. I'll just give you a perfunctory look. Guys, I want to talk about LTRY, because this one has rejected multiple times off too. In fact, I had my beak wetter at $2. I've moved it down to $1.99. So I'm out of the majority of the position. I'm still holding a bit. Anything below that $1.70, I'm gone. I'm not going to have to fight this below VWAP. That is not my trade. Since I got into this trade, VWAP's a little bit higher at $1.75. That makes me feel a bit better because it's a higher level at which I can say, my trade is wrong, and I'll be able to get out for less of a loss. So if it doesn't hold that $1.75, that's the end of the trade. What's going on over there, Katina, man?
Joe, so I don't want to sell it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to say nothing about that then.
No, I'm still short TQs 85.10.
Oh, what do you mean?
The Katina man is short TQs at 85.10. So his position counter to Joe's. So you don't want to say too much about it.
84.48, right?
He's in at 84. There's exactly.
So it's done, right?
Exactly.
So it's done.
Yeah, well, I've seen this before. Sean's taking a short position, Niels went long, or vice versa, and somehow they both made money. It really depends on where you get in. So shout out to both of you guys. So LTRY, focusing on this one. If it loses VWAP, that is the end of the trade. I'm only into this because it worked its way above VWAP. If it fails VWAP, then I get out. I used to say this all the time. It got me into the trade, and it will get me out. So, and in addition to the VWAP being the $1.75, look at this area holdup right here. I mean, that's a previous area of resistance. If it doesn't hold up after holding up over here, then I don't have the right trade, and this is a manifestation of the double top. So I don't want to be long on a neckline break of the double top. So keeping my eye on that one. ORMP, another one that we had eyes on today, is coming into a nice area. And I say nice because it's coming into VWAP. Where's my, here it is. So volume weighted average price in focus right now for this name. Now, I did defend it before. Right at 12.25, we did get into VWAP only to make lower highs and lower lows. So this one looks like it could be a flat bottom break. And what I really mean by saying this is, you know, I make up the term flat bottom break, but what it really is a descending wedge with lower highs and that flat bottom. We know that's a bearish pattern, Joseph Wilson. So if this one breaks down below that, I'm done with this trade. Will not allow it to go against me. As I'm watching right now, LTRY came into VWAP, caught a bit of a bid back into that 180. If it holds this level, I think I'm going to hold it, and I might even add to it on a $2 breakout. But I'm very, very suspicious right now of this name, especially because this ugly topping tail candle that manifested into that 220. Let's see if it holds up that $1.75. We won't have to wait long, I believe, to find out. What do you got on that side?
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of these earnings here potentially for tonight. I've seen someone in the chat. I don't know if it's true or if Adara touched on it. SMCI apparently changed the earnings date. I don't know if that's true. Can't take everything at face value. But we got SMCI, UPST, Dash, and Lyft. All right. So we'll take. I like Upstart. I like Dash, and I like Lyft. So what we're going to do here now, Sharif, is pull up the expected moves here on some of these names to see what the options market is looking at. And with that, we're going to look at high levels of open interest as well, too, guys. So keep that in mind. Let's see what I got going on here. Every time I do that, okay, so we don't want that anymore. Come on, give us that search here. Yeah, so LY, yeah, give it to us. Give it to us. No. Okay, Lyft, guys. We're in this. So about, whoa, okay, that's a little hefty there. 15% expected move here in the options market. Pricing that in. So a little bit of a hefty one. We're going to send it off to Adara in just 1 second. I just want to see where the most levels of open interest are on this thing. LYFT. Okay, expiring this Friday, guys, on Lyft. It's not the most liquid underlying here. So the highest level is at the money, surprisingly, guys. So options market not putting too much on the call side, but on that put side, 13.5 with 7,000 open contracts. So interesting stuff. I'm not seeing too much levels of high open interest here in Lyft, but we're going to go over some of the other names that are reporting earnings shortly after we get back from Adara.
I want to clarify, I've not seen anything suggesting that SMCI is moving their earnings. However, that fear or that mention in the chat that you saw might have actually had to do with the fact that their last report, so that would have been early November 2024, they were scheduled to actually report Q1 2025, because they're, I guess, a quarter ahead. They were supposed to report Q1 2025 earnings in early November. Then the day of the report, without any prior announcement, they actually switched it up, said they were not able to file, and they released preliminary earnings. So if there's any concerns about whether or not SMCI will be able to deliver a report, they might be motivated by the fact that they did kind of last minute pull a switch up on us last time, guys.
Man, yeah, I mean, dude, yeah.
Thank you, Adara.
Thank you, Adara, for that. We'll stop this, Sharif. We're going to go over one more expected move and open interest here on some of these names that are reporting after the bell, guys. So let's take a look at Upstart UPST. UP.
My bad. I was like not going to do it for the 10th time. I apologize.
You could definitely do it. It doesn't bother me either. UPST.
Oh boy.
Stop embarrassing me. Here we go. Okay, guys. Wow. Okay, that's a hefty move here, Sharif. Expected move around 19.5% on Upstart Holdings, guys. Let's pull up the chain and see where we have the most levels of open interest, because I like doing so. And then looking at those targets, come those reports, because when you see them hit, you often see them rejected, right? And that what it is someone who used to work on the floor, Max. Those who are familiar with Max.
Oh, they know him.
Yeah, they know Max. So what Max is like, okay, so one time I had an options contract and I'm like, oh, I couldn't, like you can't exercise or do anything along those lines. After the bell, there's Max. After the bell, but he's like, here, Joe, if you're long or long contracts, so either puts or calls, what you can do to lock in those gains, Sharif, so say I own a call option here on UPST, it exceeds that expected move. So what can I do to lock in those gains? You obviously need the capital in your account, but what you can do is just short 100 shares right at the target that you want to lock in those gains, right? So what will happen is, okay, UPST exceeds the expected move. I want to lock in those gains. I can't do it via options contracts. Short those shares. So what happens if the contract starts to decline? What happens? Your short position starts to appreciate, right? So now you're stuck in that window where you've locked in those gains. And he taught me that, smart dude. So yeah, you have the ability to do that. But again, not the most volume here on some of these names, Sharif. The next highest level of open interest is going to put us at that $75 strike price with only 3,000 open contracts.
All right, so I was doing a little bit more of a deep dive here into Apple's new partnership with Alibaba. So a couple of things about that. So Apple was not, had to actually partner with a local Chinese company in order to launch the full version of its AI, Apple Intelligence. So what their plan was, they were going to launch a light version of their Apple Intelligence, but the full one had to come with a partnership, a Chinese company. So apparently, they were in collaboration to do the deal with Baidu. In fact, according to this article in here, they were in development since 2023 with Baidu for that Apple Intelligence. That fell through. So according to this quote, they did select Baidu in 2023, but the collaboration was later scrapped because Baidu's progress in developing its models for Apple Intelligence fell short of the U.S. company standards. We know that Baidu has their Ernie chatbot. Haven't heard a lot about that lately, especially in light of DeepSeek and Qwen and the new one here being released, that's the new one by Alibaba, excuse me. I do believe they also dropped the Chinese. That is a new one yesterday. Kimi, K-I-M-I, apparently is supposed to be really good, outperforming DeepSeek in certain tests as well. So Apple dropping Baidu here, which was the expected collaborator with Apple, in favor of Alibaba. It goes on to say the iPhone maker in recent months started to consider other options other than Baidu, assessing models developed by Tencent, ByteDance, interesting. That would have probably proposed some interesting national securities. Alibaba, as well as DeepSeek, believe it or not, they gave DeepSeek a whirl. I'm assuming that they probably dropped that maybe because of other national security concerns. That's speculation, entirely speculative on my part. Don't actually know. We'll get more details about this release of news by Apple. So it's interesting look there that they went with Alibaba, especially since we just got information about the Qwen 2.0, whatever, 2.0, 2.5, or whatever they're doing there lately. I mean, there hasn't been too much information released about that. But again, Alibaba's probably just a monster name. You might feel a bit more secure doing business with Alibaba maybe than some others. So I'm assuming that might have something to do with the matter. So we'll have to wait and see. This is obviously very important for Apple. Apple's been getting shellacked lately because their Chinese sales have sucked. And now they're third in terms of sales in China, the third best-selling handset maker, I believe, behind Huawei. And I think it's Honor. Fact check me about that, chat. I'm pretty sure it's Honor. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see whether this moves the needle for them in China. I think they were down 11%, maybe more, in their handset sales year over year in China. So,
13.
Excuse me?
13%.
13%. There you go. Joey Options coming in with the data. I mean, that's not a good look. 13% year over year is ugly, especially when you're talking about the Chinese market, man. So definitely have to keep an eye out there. There has been this push, though, you feel in China. And, you know, if anybody's in China, if you're watching right now, if you live in China, I'd like to get your opinion. So tag Joseph and I. Is there a nationalist push right now in China? I mean, are you guys, you know, we've seen Tesla sales go down in exchange for some of the local manufacturers who BYD, XPeng, NIO, Zeekr. There's a lot, Xiaomi, there's tons. I can keep going about this in exchange for local brands. So Tesla sales down for more Chinese brand. iPhone sales down in favor of more Chinese brands. Is there a nationalist push right now, or is this because, you know, quite frankly, to be honest, they're catching up technology-wise? Whether you put the AI, the advanced AI chips, we'll find out in a second there, Katina Man. I think he is definitely short the Qs. He's printing up a storm. He's short Apple right now off that high of the day. But that's the look. That's the look. So I'd love to see if you guys, if we have any viewers in China, I'd like to get your opinion, quite frankly, about what's happening in that.
Well, we don't have anybody in China because YouTube's not allowed in China.
Oh, it is. They use it VPN.
Oh, okay,
absolutely.
yeah, change it. Okay.
Yeah, no, we actually, that was one of our largest markets, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know how YouTube shows you your geography, like where.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of our largest markets.
All right, that's good. Well, I mean, I heard somebody, I forget who was at, I was either watching CNBC last night, or someone said it today. I can't really recall, but they're looking at kind of Apple, kind of from a cultural perspective, that it's kind of not appropriate to hold iPhones, right? It's like from a cultural aspect, it's like, okay, so why you have an iPhone when it's not Chinese made or whatever it may be? It's not a Chinese grown product, right?
Yeah,
so
fair.
I found that relatively.
Here we go. We're getting some answers, Joseph. So I'd love to be able to read these. Okay. Vivid Distortion. What iPhone do I have? I have the 13 Pro Max. Kurt Cobain official. National push, he says. Let's see what else people are saying. Kevin Kelly. Just better cars. BYD sells 4 times more cars than Tesla in Ireland. Very interesting. They're allowed in this country, but they're subject to 100% tariffs. Likewise, it was south of the border, so we don't see them here. I've personally never seen a BYD car here. Katina Man's never seen a BYD. There's BYD buses. I didn't even know that. Interesting. There's BYD buses, which I'm willing to bet you are probably not subject to that same tariff. Bren Rex. Bren works. I was just in China for a month. They just like their own models over Tesla. They are actually better, cheaper, not American. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm going for there. I kind of feel there's a bit of a nationalist push right now in China. I'd like to hear some more here, but what people are saying. Here we go, another comment from Warren. Tesla China sales are down because of line changes for the new Model Y. Fact. So what he's talking about there, and correct me if I'm wrong, Warren, is you're talking about the retooling of the Shanghai facility to allow for the production of the new Model Y Juniper. My understanding was going to be about a week or so for retooling. So I don't know if that's really the factor, because the data we got for January was lagging, right? It was for the previous month. So I don't know. Let me know. The herb of Wall Street, Joseph. Just need Apple to puke, and this market dumps. The Katina Man is on your side for that. There's no question about that. Yeah, what else? So they have RooTube. I don't know what that is. I haven't been in China. Yes, Fred Liu. He's from Canada. He put bracket Canada. Yes, there is a nationalist push. I agree. Very interesting. Darth Buddha. It's not nationalist, it's buy local. You know what I mean, though, brother. It doesn't have to be nationalist in the pejorative sense of the word nationalist, but more of a, hey, let's support our local brands. That's kind of what I meant. I think we're agreeing. We're just using different terminology. What else we got over here? Yeah, I'm just looking. Yeah, nothing else here. They're hybrids, I guess. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything too important over here. BYD has 30 model EVs and hybrids and $44 billion in debt. I didn't know that, Warren. I'll have to look more into that. Who else we got over here in the chat chiming about this? I did see something there a second ago. BYD headquarters, Lancaster, California, for buses. They are everywhere in California. Yeah, the Katina Man just said the same thing. I mean, I didn't notice personally that they...
In the chat, the word chat.
You sent it? Oh, I'm gonna have a look at it right now. Appreciate you, Katina Man. Yeah, that's the look there. Here we go. BYD rolls out first of 10 zero-emission buses for the Toronto Transit Commission. So I guess no 100% tariffs there, Katina, man, because while they're coming in, they wouldn't be competitive. They wouldn't be competitive if they were coming in at 100% tariffs. I'll promise you that, right? So that's very interesting. I see them in Egypt all the time. I don't see the hybrids, but I see the internal combustion engine cars. And Joseph, the people there, you can get a brand new car, south of 10,000
in Egypt.
Yeah, 10,000 US dollars, obviously. So if you're in Uber,
what kind of car?
BYD.
Oh, BYD.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So these BYDs, they're trying to capture market share that Tesla would only dream about capturing right now.
We said this before, 10K for a car, you can't even buy a used one, a half decent used one, south of 100 clicks. Well, for my friends south of the border, miles, which would probably be about 70-something thousand miles. But yeah, Tesla continuing to move to the downside. I hear Katina Man talking about it, Sharif.
He's talking about Tesla because it just doesn't stop.
It's just not stopping, man. This thing is now at 329, getting just absolutely beaten to a pulp here, guys. Let's zoom out here and go from an hourly chart. Look where we peaked all the way here in December, and then essentially it's just been 2 months of selling. Again, this thing took a couple years to construct a new all-time high, and we're just heading back into that same pattern. So, I mean, this was all-time high here in October of 21, right? We didn't make a new all-time high until about 2 years later, December of 23. So that's 2 years almost on the dot there, about a month apart. Without putting in a new all-time high, especially in this area here, guys. Well, the market was just continuing to trade higher and higher, and Tesla was not. So going back into some really, really dangerous levels. April of 2022 is what the prices we're looking at right now. So again, without this name, the volatility comes with it. High beta stock, high levels of volatility. In this case here, I don't think I'm going to be looking to catch a falling knife on Tesla because we got the likes of Meta all-time highs, Nvidia encroaching back to those all-time highs, Google not too far of it, and this thing's down over 30% from those levels. Not something I would necessarily looking to be getting involved with just now, but I mean, at some point, too much blood. Where's Max Payne on this thing? And I'm thinking around that 300. So Kyle Burdett probably going to be right on this bet. I thought we were going to hit 500 before we hit 300, and he couldn't be more right on this one. Curious to where KB's been. Haven't seen him for a while. Hopefully everything is okay on his end. But I mean, really, really tough look for this stock. You got names like BYD in Egypt, as Sharif just mentioned, selling cars for 10K. I know people here in Canada, if you had a quality car for 10K brand new, it would dominate the market. So yeah, really, really tough look, especially on this name. But again, guys, the market's starting to pull back here now as well. Still hovering just below VWAP is the Qs. Nice recovery, still staying strong with the big names dragging it up, with the exception of the one we were just talking about. But here we go from a weekly standpoint. Not too far off of those all-time high, guys. I think it's a matter of time until we hit them. We have the Nvidia report not coming up until, I believe, a week and a bit or so. Not next week, the following, the 26th, right? So not next week, the following week, we'll be getting a report from these guys, from Nvidia, and I think the much-anticipated one, as we typically say every quarter. But I mean, hey, I think that if it decides that it wants to run, this thing is going to drag the Qs to an all-time high. Let's see what the chat is up to and what everybody else is saying. Thanks for the participation. We were hitting all-time numbers that I've personally seen here on the midday, and we can't do it without you guys. So, I mean, fantastic stuff to all my friends. Celery 2, Chill Vibes, Warren, Chef Joe in the chat. We have Gorev, my guy, and Darwin always in the chat. Monty G, see you there all the time. Kennedy D. It's like we're doing an afternoon roll call here, Sharif. Just saying thank you to everybody that accepted speech. Sorry. Save and fundamentals doesn't support the price either, says Saif. Absolutely, I couldn't agree more with you. Double miss last earnings. A lot of people baking in to the current, to that previous price of that robo fleet being dispensed mid this year. And a lot of people not liking that right now. BYD selling cheaper cars, dominating the China space. Let's see what else everybody is saying here, Sharif.
Hold on, I want to ask Andre.
Ask Andre a couple questions, my guy.
Andre, is BYD a big brand in Brazil? He's never heard about it. That's interesting because like Andre is one of the production team members. He's one of the newer members. You don't know him because he doesn't have a nickname yet. But the Chilean Nightmare is one, Ram the other, and then Andre has the newest member. He's been here a while.
The Brazilian Beast.
The Brazilian Beast. I like
Bang.
that. But that's yours. So I'll have to think of one. But yeah, Andre, my understanding was that they were trying to get into the Western Hemisphere through Brazil and Mexico. They were setting up big dealerships, trying to get their foot in the door, very good prices as well. I'm talking about BYD trying to get a foothold in the Western. What's up?
The Qs.
Electric? Yeah. Yeah, they do both, Andre. They do regular cars, internal combustion engine. They do hybrids. They do electric. They do They do literally everything. So they're growing is kind of what I'm trying to say there.
Joe W. JCB says Joe W. Dr. Dre. What does that mean? Joe, you want a car for 10K? The exchange in comment? No thanks. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair enough point. Yeah, that's a solid point. I can't argue with that one. In exchange for
Joseph.
Yeah, my guy, the Qs are ripping. We're gonna touch on this real quick. What do you got going on there?
Meta's exploding.
Meta's exploding, dragging the overall market up. Take it over, my guy.
All right, Meta's really moving here. There was a flat top that we could have talked about at around 718.5 to 719, Joseph. That is over. Meta's on the way up. Meta's taking out 720, 721.25. It's green on the day. It's the only other Mag 7 name other than Apple that's actually green on the day. Everything else in red territory, with Tesla going on 6%, META up 0.5% right now. It's not at the high currently. I don't see any headline right now on META. I'm looking to see exactly if there's anything new that came in midday. Nothing that I can see. Adara might have something for us. Adara's at the big desk.
Man, what a squeeze.
I don't have a new headline here, but I do think it's worth noting there's definitely some bullishness for Meta, which is on track for its 17th straight green day. Tigris Financial this morning maintaining a strong buy and raising its price target from an eye-watering 645 to 935. So Tigris Financial here coming out this morning with $935 price target for Meta, which, as mentioned, still on its multi-day green streak, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Adara. I want to mention as well, I was sitting there waxing poetic about BYD, and I want you to get the wrong idea. I'm not really endorsing them. In fact, I got to tell you something else over here. Your boy Jay Lee there, one of the OGs in the chat, says the following: BYD batteries are a serious hazard. Literally thousands of videos in China watching their brand new BYDs burn up. You have to do your homework, obviously, before you invest in any company. And you can invest in BYD in North America. It's on the OTC exchange. Shout out to Jeffrey Mendel. But yeah, you got to do your homework. Go onto YouTube, see what people are saying in BYD. If you don't understand Cantonese or Mandarin, throw it in the chat. Have it translated. Throw it into ChatGPT. It'll translate everything for you. So that's the look right there. Thank you, Jay, for chiming in about that. Always great commentary and great additions from Jay Lee, one of the OGs in the chat. So I'm keeping my eye here on META because it's strong. And, if there's going to be a breakout to the high side right now on the future, well, then maybe Meta is the right vehicle. But I'll submit to you something. I personally see the futures, the NQ, March contract, look a lot more similar to the Nvidia chart than it does the Meta chart. This is the top right-hand corner. That's the future, and that's Nvidia. Look at the similarities there between the area trough, the consolidation low, and then the break and take of the high. So personally, I feel that the future is really being moved around, pushed around by Nvidia right now. So this pop-up on the futures really coincides with a pop-up on Nvidia. But it also, to be fair, it also coincides with a pop-up on Meta. They're both at the same time. But I'll submit to you that the futures look a bit more similar to the chart on Nvidia than it does on Meta. So we have to load up Meta here. We're not going to just sit there and talk about Meta and not have something loaded up on the monster. So 721 and a third, that's the high of the day. We're coming into that level right now. It's showing me 26s on the ask. I think we're going to take it out. 29s is the high of the day. Meta's on one right now. It took out 719 like it didn't even matter. And we have been rejecting 719 basically all day. Now you're getting aggressive bids into that 72. There it is. There goes the high of the day, 72.31. We're moving up big. Am I doing the ad or is Joseph doing the ad?
Doing it live, man.
We're doing it live, baby. All right, you let me know.
E-Signal, trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite trading experience. You see what Sharif does every day. Analyze, strategize, capitalize, foresee profitable opportunities with the platform you need. Infinite data, instant trading, know where the market is moving before others with lightning fast data. Charts that change the game, customize and analyze markets faster your way. Better backtesting and scanning, predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable real-time data, up to the second market info from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. Folks, it has everything Sharif was saying, options chain, everything on that. Man, oh wow, Sharif, look at this market go.
Going,
it's just
bro.
going, dude. Look at me. Oh, I fat-fingered something here. I got all out by accident, and then I flipped my position, Sharif. I'm like, why am I short looking at the positions board?
I hate that,
and then
bro.
Sure enough, we got all out there, Gorab. But that's why we hold on to these positions, my guy. Not only is Meta roaring, the SPY is roaring for the Playmaker. We're a couple cents off of that. Potentially new high a day. Nvidia putting in a potential new high a day with this momentum stepping in. Meta just going crazy off of this, buying the Korean chip maker news. Man, this is the volatility that we need. We displayed the stopping volume, and it's come to fruition, my guy.
Yes, AVGO, it's being yelled out in the chat. We're now 1% clear, guys, on Broadcom. We're not taking out any key levels. Let me just double check if I'm accurate on that. So a key level is coming in. So the high of the day back on February 5th was that 238. We're awfully close to 238 right now. It's 237.74 is the high of the day. So Broadcom is on one. It's above the 10 exponential. That's at around 237.10, maybe a little bit higher than that. I don't want to get in at these highs, especially on a $237 name. It'll have to be on a pullback at a key area, but it may not give me that pullback. Right now, we're getting a lot of strength in the market. The NQ could go green if it takes out 21,850. So let's just give this one the old college try. We're going to punch in long here. We got 57s. Let's throw out some orders on this bad boy. Let's see if we can take out the highs. I'll give this one a little bit of room. Well, what's life without whimsy? We're going to give this one a bit of a try over here on AVGO. Some good buying coming in. Let's see if the future wants to continue going to the high side. As I mentioned, 21,850 or thereabouts. That's where we go green on the NQ. I'm already looking at the ES on the side. It's already green. The Dow is already green. It's the Rust that's really lagging behind on the day. It's down 2/3%. So we'll keep tabs on the Rust, obviously, if we come back down into that. So that's what I'm looking at right now. How many shares do I have of this thing? Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's a lot. So we'll see. We'll see if this one wants to hold up or not. What the situation is with AVGO.
You punch it all the way up there.
Yeah, man. Well, I was going. It's gonna have to hold the 10 exponential. If it holds the 10 exponential, I'll hold it. If it doesn't hold the 10 exponential, I'm out. Come what may. What do you got, Joseph?
What do we got here, guys? Make sure you get those votes in. We almost tapped into that price target we needed for the Playmaker, so that's looking really good. Guys, let me know what the VIX is looking at. Mine's not updating right now, but I mean, this is crazy stuff here in the market. We mentioned those signals not too long ago, and then all it needed was an additional flame, and then sure enough, here we go, continuing to climb higher and higher. Let's see what everybody else in the chat is saying. Bearded Warrior trades. Sharif, BTC jumped, which is dragging it up also. Okay, let's take a look at IBIT. I don't know about that. Wow, I'm really kicking myself on this Q's trade. IBIT, don't love it, guys. That's okay. We took a short on it, but we just continued to sell off there. So that's the look on IBIT. But man, this TQQ trade really killing myself. Held it all the way here. Almost got stopped out, break even, about 10 cents, not even or so, but now punching through the VWAP with that momentum. Really, really good look there. Someone says short Tesla. Charlie Taft says short Tesla at 333. Okay, my guy, I'm not going to disagree with you on that one. I do believe Tesla is weak, but with the market continuing to roar how it is, not necessarily be looking for a short. And where it is right now, from a daily perspective and intraday perspective, down a hefty amount. Tesla over 5%, I think, on the session.
Wow.
Yeah, which is crazy. 5.25 here, Sharif. I'd be looking for a bounce on this thing, not necessarily the continuation to the short side here, but that's just me. Hopefully that trade works out for you. We are now trading, like you're in at 333s. I mean, you've already earned some money, so I mean, we're at 331.84, so $1 or so. If I had the dollar club, I would hit it for you. Hopefully that continuation works out for you and that you print up multiple storms, as Sharif likes to say on that one. Yeah, I didn't mean to be fisherman. I didn't mean to get all out of that TQQ trade. It was an accident. I covered too much and then it flipped my position to a short. And I'm like, what am I doing here? 100K on Tesla short in 40 seconds, says Mark Sushi. Very good stuff there, my guy. Congratulations to you. Charlie Taft, I'm short from 362 yesterday, calling what I see. Nice, like that, 362. That is hefty. Hopefully you have some nice amount of shares on for that trade because it is absolutely monstrous and continuing to be one of the weaker big names in the markets, Sharif.
Interesting. The King of Jordan has just arrived at the White House. Super interesting there. So it's the King of Jordan today. I think the president of Egypt comes in a couple of days. The whole point of this is to try to deal with the issue in Gaza. I think that they're trying to get Egypt and Jordan to take some people and kind of help the situation there. So we could definitely get some volatility in the markets, the oil markets, anything commodity related goodness. We could get the market as a whole if we get announcements that could be looked at here as maybe not favorable to the situation. So lots of potential moving points for the market as Donald Trump's presidency continues to unfold and the volatility that comes with it. And I kind of waxed poetic about that at the beginning of the show, that this volatility helps with intraday trades. Obviously, if you're in a position and you're doing well and all of a sudden you're out of the money, you may not feel that way, but we look for volatility as intraday traders in order to make this money. So we'll keep an eye out on that. The King of Jordan just arriving now, I believe, at the White House. We're going to be getting some commentary, I'm assuming, as they'll likely do a joint press conference, as usually leaders do. They'll do joint press conferences after, and then we'll hear more about that. So could be market moving stuff. Don't know when that press conference is, what will be said. Obviously, what's to be discussed, we can make educated guesses there, obviously. We'll wait and see if we get more information off that. So just want to mention that there because it just came to me on the phone. Still holding this AVGO long as it continues to zig and zag at 237.5. There's a seller at the general $0.50 area. The future kind of I don't know. I don't want to say it's done moving up. We didn't even get to 21,850. We're above 800 right now, and I'm still going printless over here. I'm 2 pennies out of the money, but I'm still waiting for some sort of print to the high side. Nothing forthcoming. And by the way, I should tell you guys, at this level here on AVGO, when you look at the half-an-hour chart, I mean, we did top out here multiple times back on February 5th. So there is a local area of resistance right now in this 238 area on AVGO. Broadcom is what I'm talking about. So I could be, caught in a bit of a tougher trade. I've given myself a super tight stop just in the low 237s there. So we'll have to figure out exactly how this all ends up tomorrow. Keeping an eye, obviously on AIFF. I haven't taken a trade on that one in a while. It's still putting in lower highs, guys. So I'm still not very inclined to want to take anything on AIFF until the trend changes. Back to AVGO, showing me 60s now. Can we get a print to the high side, please and thank you? Showing me 65s. There's one print. All right, let's see if we can continue to move up. There's the other print. Let's see if we can take out that level. Now I'm waiting at 82s. It's showing me 77s. We're still not printing, though, on the high side bet. At least we de-risked a little bit here on AVGO. Looking for that move up. Take out the high of the day. I think we did print the high of the day there, printing 76s, but that's not really what I'm looking for here. We're long 57s. It's going to have to break the whole dollar level to make any money, and right now it feels like the market may be looking for a breather from its move to the high side, so I don't want to be caught here, Joseph, and then get clawboard. Clawboard? I don't know if that's a word, bro.
Clawboard.
Clawboard? at this level over here. What do you got on your side, my man?
Yeah, man, I'm just looking at this market continue to climb higher. I really want to hit this 2-to-1 on the Playmaker poll. I'm looking at the likes in the chat as well, too, guys. Get those up. We got 5,000 people watching us right now, Sharif, and only 657 likes.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it, man. That's measly, not even a 20% there. So come on, guys, let's get those likes up. It's been an absolute stellar of a day, Sharif, putting on monster trades. We had that long in the TQs and in Google as well, too, guys. So do us the biggest favor and throw those likes up. Let's see if we can hit that 1K target for those likes in 14 minutes. That'd be epic. I mean, we can't leave any promises. Like, if we don't get 1K likes here, Sharif, that push-up competition looking like it might not happen. So, I mean, a lot of people want to see it. Adara even wants to see it. She's talking about it. So we need to get those likes in, guys. Otherwise, you know what I mean? Things can't be all one way here. You know what I mean, Sharif? So we got to get that in. Bang, just did. Thanks, guys. Much appreciated. I'm going to have to refresh it here shortly to see what we got going on. But hold on here. Let me get this fixed up and take a quick breather, dude. You expect me to click that shit? I've been here for 2 years, cramping up. Oh, sorry, Pretty Panda. Okay, I know you've been, but just do it for me, Pretty Panda, because you know we always do you a solid as well. So that does the channel a lot. Gifted one Trader TV Live membership. Thank you, Chet. Much appreciated, my friend. Wow, I can't believe this in IBIT, guys. Continuing to the south side as the market is just moving stronger and stronger. I'm scratching my head on this one. Gonna have to get out of Dodge in the swing account, Sharif, and then just look to buy a little bit lower. Gonna take a loss on this one, but that's okay. We locked in, we churned a lot of shares, locked in a lot of profits, but unfortunately we're gonna take a little out of that bag. That's okay, because you know why, Sharif?
Why?
Because we're gonna get right back into it when it's time. And you know what we're gonna do?
What?
We're gonna go heavy when we do.
Well, I'll vouch for that, bro. His shareage there in IBIT was kind of eye-watering. I had to ask him, I'm like, why are you in IBIT? You might as well, if you're going to throw that kind of money around, just buy Bitcoin itself. So it gives you an idea. Joseph holding some shareage there. That's a long term. That wasn't the swing, though, just to get everybody clear on that. So there's really no L there. He's the
average is nice.
Yeah, your average is pretty good.
38.
I mean, come on. Right, that's nice. It's so nice.
Do the Donald dance.
All right, guys, still holding my Broadcom level here. I don't know what it's doing. It's holding the 10 exponential on the 1. It's holding the 10 exponential on the 5, but it's having a lot of trouble taking out that high of the day. And I don't want to be caught on when this market starts turning back around, and that's what it feels like it's doing. On the 5-minute chart, on the NQ, we've got 3 topping tail candles, but we don't really have lower lows. So I am concerned that the market's catching a bit of a sell right now, and if that's going to be the case, I think it might have downward pressure on AVGO, Nvidia. I'm already seeing a negative candle right now on Nvidia, and Nvidia is now down on the day, believe it or not, down 0.1. So I don't know how I feel about this AVGO long. AVGO still up 1.1%. It's holding the moving average. So I don't want to take it out when I don't need to take it out, but I am concerned with the market turning around over here and then bringing this bad boy down. It's like kind of I'm caught between two minds about what I want to do because we haven't broken the moving averages. We're still trending well, but the other signs that we may not do that well, which is looking at the future, looking at some sympathy plays in Nvidia, have me looking the other way. So I'm kind of caught between two minds about what to do here with Broadcom, but I do like the fact that it's kind of putting in this bull pennant, so to speak, but bull flag, excuse me. But that's the second one we've put. So we've seen this a lot where, we kind of trend up aggressively and we get a couple of bull flags and the third one fails. And I'll submit to you, this could be 3 bull flags. One, and then one more prolonged, and then the second one, and then the third. And then we're in the third right now. So AVGO, zigging, zagging. Let's see if we can kind of move up a little bit over here. We're already a little bit out of the money now, about 10 pennies out of the money for the remaining amount of shares that we have. But I was able to scalp up several times there at the top, not for big winners, quite frankly. So we'll definitely need a nice move up here in order to make any decent money. But Broadcom questioning this choice now. Adara, you're at the big desk.
So we have a couple things to note here. For one, keep an eye on, I have a Tesla up here, but you could also be watching Rivian, any EV or EV charging related stock, because apparently there's this letter I'm seeing circulated here on X. Apparently Democratic senators have said in a letter that the Trump administration has illegally frozen $3 billion in state electric vehicle charging funds. So this being addressed here, keep an eye on Tesla, Rivian, anything like that. It seems like there is going to be some attempt here to get that freezing of $3 billion of electric charging funds to potentially change. Also, just saw this coming through as well. Apparently, Sam Altman has sent a letter to OpenAI employees with regards to the bid for the company by Elon Musk's consortium. He said that no official bid has been received, but that their structure of the company exists to ensure that, quote, no individual can take control of OpenAI. So Sam Altman holding firm against that attempt. In case you guys missed it, we do have a new graphic on X at TTV Research about that whole situation where you can see the back and forth between Elon and Sam on X. Back to you.
They're at a sick infographic there with Elon and Sam and the back and forth they've been having on X and the unflattering things that they think and say about each other.
Yeah, it's a good,
whatever.
It's a good, healthy relationship.
Yeah.
It's good.
That sounds corrosive.
Yeah, right.
And these are two guys that obviously work together. I think that Sam Altman, anyway, has made it very clear that he has a lot of admiration for what Elon Musk has been able to do. But obviously, they're competitors now, and he looks at Elon as a competitor, and he thinks that Elon wants to hold his company back, right? Mm-hmm. And so, it's really interesting what's happening,
dude. I'm going to touch on this. Like, in competition, I think I would like to say just like all emotions for me personally are just out the window, right? For me, that's just
what
how
do you mean
I
by
am.
that?
Like, I mean, like, dude, I want to win. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so yeah, whether it be a push-up competition or OpenAI, you know what I mean? I'm looking to win. It doesn't matter what it is.
Well, yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so. Because I mean, I know you've been training. So you got to step up that game, man. We're pushing push-ups, but guys, let's get into certain things here. Bearded Warrior Trade says, Joseph, thank you for the options lessons, buddy. I'm getting ready to take my first contracts in crude oil soon, and hopefully go from day trading to swing trading options. Thank you, much appreciated. No, thank you, Bearded Warrior Trades. Truly, I don't even really know what to say. Hopefully, you have gained some knowledge. I try to talk about it as often. We don't trade options here on the show, but I try to just integrate it into the day-to-day practice that we do. So hopefully you are taking things from that, as you said, and hopefully that they work out for you. So hopefully that crude oil trade does well, and much more. There's just at the beginning of your journey, and you're gonna gain a lot more knowledge, especially sitting here, and the more experience you get trading those contracts, my friend. So let's see what else everybody is saying in the chat here. I would say give every important company in U.S. to Elon. Okay, Rochelle, that's very, what's his name?
Yeah,
Rahil Anwar. That's a very, give everything to Elon.
It's like you either really like Elon Musk or you really dislike Elon Musk.
Yeah, and that's
so I took an informal poll of my buddies.
Yeah.
At the Super Bowl party.
Bowl,
so my buddy, he's a high school buddy. I also went to university with him, so it was a mix of high school buddies and university buddies. Okay. And without exception, all of them said they used to like him, but now they kind of feel differently about him because he's gone crazy. This is what they feel. And I didn't challenge them on any of their beliefs. I just wanted to hear what they had to say without them hearing anything of what I had to say. Because I knew I'd influence them. I have a bit more information, but what he does day to day, they're just hearing, stuff on the side. And genuinely, Joseph, each and every one said the same thing. We used to like him. We used to think he was, very smart, run his companies very well. But now he's gone crazy.
What is the kind of the reasoning of why they classify?
Well, they'll give you different things. They'll say.
What was the most common one?
The one that said most by them was the gesture there.
Okay. So is that what
Second
did it?
World War
that's
gesture.
because my guy's a little bit on the I think he is on the spectrum, isn't he?
Yeah.
Somewhere, yeah. So I mean, hey, he does weird things. He's always done weird things. There's nothing we can say about that.
Well, yeah.
Does that take away from what he's accomplished over time?
I personally don't think so,
No.
but and I don't even think that was what he was doing. But that's just my opinion. Nobody really knows, and you could ask him. Obviously, he's never going to admit it. Kind of goes without saying there. But yeah, I mean, the real reason for this whole thing was not to defend him, was to just get a perception of how people feel like passively about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of growing dislike for him at the moment.
I mean, his impact, I don't think it's been as vast here in the Canadian economy as maybe in the American economy, right? Like, I don't know how you feel about it.
Well, bro, look at your boy Jagmeet Singh wants to tax his cars 100%.
Well, yeah, well, okay, but
right?
First of all, he's not my boy. I'll tell you, if anything, that guy is not my guy.
I love how defensive you got, bro. I set you up for that one because I know you're not a fan. But
who said that?
Yeah, who said that?
Who said that?
No, seriously, though.
But Elon would just quote the Princess Bride once again.
What would he say?
I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't
threaten me
you
with
think
money.
he care? Yeah, he doesn't care. There's even another time he was referring to that. He's like, he doesn't care. Again, how are you going to debate what this guy's brought? I think Neuralink can be absolutely game-changing in the world. I have no idea how they're going to fuse organic matter with plastic. I'm not going to try to, right? I think that's, and then upload everything into your brain. But he's constructed tunnels in Vegas, which I think are absolutely genius. This guy's been going to space, landing shuttles back that have never been done before, and he has probably the most popular vehicle on the planet right now. In the
Model Y.
Yeah, exactly, in the western side of the world. So, hate him or love him, the guy's accomplished great things.
It's just, to me, it's like you and I cover Elon all the time. We know what he's doing, like 99% of the time, what he's done, what Tesla's up to, what his companies are up to. But my friends, they don't follow the market like you and I did. So that was like my whole purpose. And I didn't do it like in a way where it was like surreptitious. You know what I mean? It was just like a genuine question. We were all having a discussion because I didn't want them to get defensive and start lining up their arguments for why they didn't like him. Right? I wanted it to be natural. And genuinely, Joseph, without exception, they all had that kind of sentiment towards him. So, I mean, why am I talking about this? Because people, you know, they vote sometimes in a way, obviously, but in this case, in this way, you can't vote for him, but you can vote with your wallet. So are you looking at different cars? Are you looking at another Tesla competitor? Are you looking at the Ioniq by Hyundai? Are you looking at the Mach-E by Ford now instead of the Model Y because you don't want to give Elon, you know, that tailwind? So that's kind of my thinking there, man. I don't know. I think with growing political involvement comes more headwinds for your company, especially when it's a B2C, not B2B. Because the consumer kind of, you know how they feel. They buy emotionally sometimes. B2B, you're like, no. Does this fit within the balance sheet? What's the budget? What's our quarterly statement? And you work off that, right? Maybe not as much as B2C, but so that was just kind of why I want to bring that out there. And I want to see what you guys have to say. Yeah, JD Florida man, haters all around. Look, brother, you're not wrong. I mean, you know, a lot of people, they don't like him. Molfar, Elon has not built or invented anything himself. Interesting. Richard Morrissey. Morrissey? Yep, okay, he's not talking about that. He's talking about something else. We don't like Tesla. Socialist pack pirate. Okay. Canada can have Elon. All right. These are statements, Katina, man.
I mean, he went to university here.
He did, and he lived in Toronto.
So there you go.
With his family.
Gladly take him back.
Never would buy a Tesla. Zeker one says Mo Fun. All right. Lexter 001. I have an Equinox EV and love it more than Tesla. Shout out to you. Yeah. Katina Man says, ouch. Let's see what else people are talking about there. Tesla is not all about cars. Say more, Los Polos Hermanos. You're absolutely right about that.
Mike Simmons, though.
Eh?
It's shocking that woke Canadians are woke.
What do you mean? We're not doing anything. We're having a discussion.
The thing is, though, the thing is, though, Sharif,
yes, sir.
People expect Elon to be kind of like a day-to-day citizen, a normal individual, when he's not.
No,
That's
he
just simple.
actually is not
And
at all.
and like when you reach levels of greatness, whether you can agree with it or not, chances are you're not the most normal person, because it is extremely hard, and you are doing what 99.9% of the world is doing, and therefore you are an outlier. You are not a normal
Well said,
individual.
Well said,
right?
man. Well said. All right, well, that's the situation right now. Obviously, it is now 2 o'clock. The big kahunas have returned to their desks. Sean just put on his mic. He's locked and he's loaded. And we're going to send it to them in a second. Joseph, you got a lesson on for tomorrow? Or
We do.
tomorrow's Wednesday?
No, that's why we do it
Tomorrow's
tomorrow,
Wednesday.
man.
No. Stick with
we're
the
doing
schedule.
tomorrow. Stick to the
You
schedule.
got?
Yeah,
What do you
I got
got?
it, baby. We got the time of sales. Reading the tape, guys.
There you
Reading
go.
the tape.
All right, same bat time,
Hey.
same bat channel. Get it, guys.
Go.
That's a great lesson.
Love the time and sales, I'll be-
time and sales.
I have to check the time, make some sales, and then double check that, because I'm going to be there tomorrow 100%. 100%.
legit.
My mic's probably a problem here. I don't know.
What's wrong with the mic?
What's Ramin doing now? Oh, God.
Nice shirt.
It never stops around here.
No, it never stops.
Anyways, welcome up, guys. No. Oh my God, it has arrived.